are live.
Welcome to Subjectively Correct, episode 19. I think the title says
18.
18, but it
Yeah,
is
It's
19.
19.
So
fix
it
that
is.
real quick
We're swapping that. Wait, don't. I got it. I'll take care of it
All right.
because it'll mess something up. But the title says 18 on the live stream. It'll be 19, and we'll fix it in post. And
We'll do it live.
yeah. So we have all seen FNAF 2. Corbin went opening day, right? You were opening weekend.
Let's go ahead and reintroduce Corbin.
Opening weekend.
Oh yeah. Corbin was here last week. Loki been more consistent than Jake the last.
I
2
was
weeks.
sick. I was dying, but
No, he wasn't. He's lying. He just didn't want
Okay.
to do it.
Offered solutions, right? Some of us offered real solutions.
yeah, I mean, you said I could stream between pukes. That didn't seem
Exactly.
like the most innovative solution to me.
That seemed pretty innovative. You said you were throwing up every hour. I said, okay.
Well, I couldn't keep water down. If I was just puking food and I could
hold
drink
on.
some
You
water,
said
I would have. But
I'm throwing up every hour. So I just said, okay, well then
little 59-minute stream,
right after, exactly.
a puke, and then just
Exactly.
welcome back to Subjectively Correct. I mean, it's not your worst idea you've had.
Exactly. All right. So it's, let's just say some people want it, some people don't. We are going to be permanently streaming on this channel. I'm holding it hostage from Jake until he uploads a single video. Doesn't even have to be multiple. Doesn't even have to be longer than 35 seconds. He just needs to upload something. So we're holding it hostage.
Upload a short, bro.
Done
Do a
with
food review or some shit, bro.
Done with finals. Actually, I'm not done with finals, but I don't have to go to class anymore, and I only have 2 more finals. So
yeah, okay, buddy. Sure. I'm sure you're gonna make something.
so technically, I do have the time now. It's a choice, and it is a
Dude,
choice.
I bet you will. Dude, I bet you will, bro.
Yeah. Anyway, so if you are gonna tune in for the live stream, we will be here. Normally it'll just be me and Jake, but Corbin is big into FNAF.
He's our FNAF expert.
This is like the only excuse we're gonna have to get him on until Harry Potter. So we just figured we'll bring it on, and he had a slightly different experience to us, I think, watching the movie. So Corbin watched it opening night. I watched it yesterday, and then Jake watched it on a boat today. And there were some sick people on the boat with Jake.
Oh my, bro.
It was very shaky.
Coffee McGee, bro. Literally every 5 seconds, just.
Yeah, it was.
Brother, leave the theater.
It was very shaky for Jake there on the boat.
Yeah.
He had to deal with the waves while it was playing.
As someone who did pay to see the movie, I still feel like I was robbed out of the money that I did spend to watch the movie. I feel like I'm owed reparations for watching the movie.
Yeah. So
right.
We do have a little bit of news we'll go over at some point, but do you want to start with the news, or do you want to go through?
Do you want to do news first, then spoiler free, then spoiler?
I think the news first, just we can get it over with.
Yeah.
Because I have no idea how long the movie discussion is going to take. So, we'll start. I mean, this is probably the big one.
Corbin, do you want to skip that ad?
Yes. That's why I kept peeking my head over here. I was waiting for the thing to go away.
So we actually got now you might be, I forgive you if you think, oh, it's a teaser for Supergirl. No, so it's actually a teaser for the teaser. They released a trailer for the trailer of the movie. So it's a sneak peek of the sneak peek of the movie. So we could take a look at this. The next big project in the DCU. This is definitely copyrighted. 1 second. We'll have to look at it muted. Trailer. Oh my gosh. Ah. Yeah. So I don't know why studios are so dead set on doing this. It's a trailer for the trailer. Overall, the cinematography already looks better than Superman, which is embarrassing. And I think this movie will probably suck.
Funny enough, though, I think it's going to be better than Superman, which is just. I mean,
It's
no,
sad.
it's not hard, but it's sad that that's like a real thing that's most likely going to happen.
The amount of money this is going to lose is absolutely insane.
Yeah, it's whatever the budget is.
Well, it might be. It's whatever the budget plus marketing. Plus
Yeah,
whatever it costs to host on streaming.
Yeah,
And whatever it costs to print merchandise.
However much money they put into the movie is approximately how much money they're going to lose.
You can't even sell more merch because the logo is just the same. So people can just use their merch from Superman. The merch that made $150 million.
Allegedly.
Just somehow.
Also, that logo is literally the worst thing I've ever seen. It's literally just a red background and then 2 yellow shapes. It doesn't look like an S. It's an S, bro. No,
But
it's not.
It's like the Kingdom Come.
It's a red line. It's not good.
The suit looks really good.
I do like the suit.
Millie Alcock looks really good. We all know. We all were knowing that though. So
We've been knowing.
yeah. I don't know.
I like the suit.
Yeah.
I don't
know
like the
what
logo. but
they're gonna be Krypton, so hopefully they do the right thing and retcon James Gunn's stupid, horrible decision for a joke, which was the least of the problems in that movie. But hopefully we get a little retcon there. You got to account for a lot of things that Superman really screws him over with. So hopefully, Lex Luthor's not involved. Otherwise, then you can just say, why don't he clone her? Why doesn't he rip the universe in half? Why doesn't he do this? So it's just a couple problems that you could point to. Not
there's a couple
written by
things
James
that you
Gunn.
probably don't want to do in your first movie in a universe.
Yeah, not written by James Gunn, not directed by James Gunn, to my knowledge. So actually, chance that it could be good.
There's a chance.
Not a lot of faith.
Very little, almost none. But
that's a good sign, though. That could mean it's going to be good.
Yeah, the problem with Superman was I didn't have faith, but I really wanted it to be good. This movie, I couldn't care less. So if it's even like a 4 out of 10, I'm going to be pleasantly surprised.
The ultimate question is he going to break $200 million at the box office?
I mean, I don't know. Flip a coin.
It's not getting over.
It's not getting over 4.
500. If it's a really, really incredible, amazing movie, it could maybe get over 400. Maybe. It'd have to be like the greatest film ever made.
Yeah.
Because Superman lost to Cars and Dinosaur 2, or 8, or 9, or however many dinosaur movies there's been.
And Demon Slayer.
Yeah, Dinosaur 7. I think it was 7. I can't. Bro,
recently I watched the How to Train Your Dragon remake. It's abysmal.
It's the worst thing I've ever seen.
It's not even like a shot-for-shot live action. It's literally just so bad.
Which they lied about, by the way, because
they were like, no, it's shot for shot.
Shot for shot. It's literally just not.
They literally just changed.
I think, bro, I got
the casting is also the guy that plays Hiccup is a good cast, and Stoic, they kept the actor. That's good. Those are the only 2 casting decisions that I was like, yeah, that was good.
Just getting crazy here. Just getting crazy.
Horrible.
What if we made original movies?
Dude, we should try that because people nowadays just aren't
kick
doing
this
that.
guy off. I'm kicking this guy off.
Wait, dude, no, you're right. We totally.
I'm not putting up with this.
Let's stop adapting stuff that we have no faith towards or have any ability to respect.
It's not even like a bad sequel, like the third one or parts of the second one. It's like some things that are animated, they're animated for a reason. Like How to Train Your Dragon is it's a concept that should stay animated because it was started in animation, it worked well in animation. You could improve the visuals over time. That's one thing that they did super well is the first movie into the second movie, the animation was leaps and bounds better, and then into the third one even, it was continually better. When you go from that to live action and you don't have an insanely high budget or frankly good cinematography or good direction or a good script, whatever, it's going to look like crap comparatively.
Yeah.
It just doesn't look good. It looks terrible. And 95% of the budget went into the dragons. The dragons look solid, but the cinematography sucks. The costumes suck. The set design sucks. Everything looks bad, but also, other than the dragons.
These 90% of these movies are animated though as well. It's
like stop adapting animated movies.
Animated. No, but I'm saying just because it's all visual computer generated, they're literally all it's just an animated movie again, but it's technically live action. Like the Lion King is
the Lion King.
It's animated.
It's just realistic animation.
Looks more realistic.
It's just a realistic animation instead of a stylistic animation.
What's the point in doing that?
I don't know.
It's like, the point is, it's the highest grossing film for Disney of the year. Still, they lost money that quarter, by the way.
Hard.
Oh wait, sorry, no, that was Lilo and Stitch, which is another live action,
which is an even worse idea.
And it was a worse adaptation, completely bastardizing the story of Lilo and Stitch. So, that's a whole other.
It's just the whole making live action of animated stuff, like. Most of the premises that are animated for a reason. It's because it's cheaper, and you're doing stuff that you can't do in live action, or that when you do it in live action, it doesn't feel realistic.
It's also artistic.
Yeah. And
you know,
It's got its own style.
it's a lot easier to have a style.
like
Yeah.
Into the Spider-Verse. It would have been cool if it came out as a live action. It'd been like, oh, that's an all right. That's like,
But it
that's
wouldn't
like
have
a
been
7
as
out of-
cool
that's
because it was
that's
like
a
the comic book style.
yeah,
That's what
but
made
then
the
it was
movie.
the animation. It was like, holy, not only is it a all right story, it also looks absolutely incredible.
Yeah, it looks fantastic and it has a cool style.
Exactly. So, you know, it's like,
If you make it a live action, it's just gonna be a movie. Like,
but dude, we almost got out of it this year because Snow White like lost all the money. How to Train Your Dragon didn't really make all the money, but then people went and saw Lilo and Stitch. So, thanks for that, everybody.
thanks
I know
everybody.
there's
We're gonna
nothing to
keep
take
getting
your
crappy
kids
live
to.
action remakes.
I know there's nothing to take your kids to, but maybe let's hold off on those because we're just not gonna get anything good now.
So go ahead and
so
skip that ad.
Maybe we just show them the original movie that's actually like really good. I don't know.
That-
Pretty, and you.
Yeah, maybe you just watch the trilogy.
whoa, buddy.
Wait,
Whoa, buddy.
that's my bad. I got a bit too crazy on that take. I
Wait.
overstepped.
Are you talking about going back to when people knew how to write stuff?
Ooh.
Dude, sadly, that is what I'm talking about.
Oh, buddy, I don't know. No, I don't think we should.
I
What
know.
do that.
about? But
Hot
how
take.
am I gonna get the references? What
Yeah.
about the fan service?
What about fan service though?
Is it gonna be silly though?
What about the key jangle?
But what if they try to make me think a thought and have an emotion, and they don't just immediately give me humor right after?
That would be bad. We don't want that.
Yeah, bro. What you expect me? You want me to like have a complex thought while I'm watching a movie? Like, come on, this is what are we doing here? This is it's
You want me to
entertainment. You're
watch
not
it-
supposed to.
You want me to watch
you're
a
not supposed to-
movie
yeah.
and
what?
it bring an emotional and like a real reaction out of me?
No, all right. Well, you're talking crazy. Let's move on here, okay?
Talking crazy. Let's get back to slop. Let's get back to slop.
Well, we're not quite to slop yet because we got, I mean, kind of slop, but kind of not slop. It's, you know, hopefully maybe someone is willing to fire James Gunn. I love how we went from like maybe James Gunn could turn this around to this guy's an idiot. So,
Hopefully the person that's gonna fire him buys the company.
if you have been living under a rock in the entertainment space, or you know, you just, I don't know, you don't care, which I don't blame you. Netflix is buying Warner Brothers essentially. So there's so many people going, this is amazing. It's terrible. This is the worst possible outcome if you claim to like movies or anything. First off, anybody buying Warner Brothers is a disaster. If you like movies or any of that, it's so much worse that it's going to be Netflix. Most likely, Paramount was like, oh, it's probably going to go to Paramount. Netflix somehow did it. Now Paramount is attempting a hostile takeover with backing from the Saudis, which don't love that, but you know, it's kind of the only way they were going to be able to offer the kind of money that they could to cause a hostile takeover. So essentially how this works is Warner Brothers has agreed to the Netflix deal, but Paramount has created a bid to essentially that would go directly to the shareholders, and if the shareholders decide it is technically it's the better deal, the right price, then it'd be forced to go that way because Warner Brothers owes the duty to its shareholders.
Yeah.
So this is just outlining all the deal. So when Paramount Skydance stunned Hollywood with a $108 billion all cash hostile takeover bid for Warner Brothers, the headlines are focused on the number. Real story is one sending shivers through Netflix. Every studio watching from the sidelines is how David Ellison is financing one of the most aggressive acquisition attempts the entertainment industry has ever seen. That's obviously a bit more about the Saudis, and that I don't think it's really that good if Saudis are going to be directly involved with making the American-made media. It was a similar thing when the box office came so reliant on China of like that just isn't good. It's going to immediately pander to those. Now this is worst case scenario for like woke people because you think the Saudis are going to want all that LGBTQ stuff in the movie. Definitely not. So, you know, I guess that is technically a positive, but like, there's no good way around this. Like, it's gonna be bad. You know, like no matter what happens, you're gonna lose movies that would be in theaters every year. If Netflix buys it, you might not get anything in theaters. I don't care what they say. They just don't make money from it. You know, they do. There's a freaking the Peaky Blinders movie comes out in March. It's gonna be in like 2 theaters for 15 minutes, and then it'll be on Netflix the next day. Like, you know, there is no good outcome. Paramount is more likely to actually put things in theaters. So if, you know, whether this goes through or not, I have no idea. All I do know is that Netflix buying Warner Brothers would be far worse. And either way, you're still gonna have to pay for HBO Max and Netflix, or Netflix just get that much more expensive. So,
Yeah. And then
you
they'll
know.
make it to where, you can use it on even less devices somehow.
And you definitely don't. If you say you want Netflix to have all these IPs, you're insane.
Don't. Netflix is like the greediest streaming service of all time. Like,
And they just ruin IPs.
yeah, they ruin every IP they get their hands on. And then you're like, oh, I want to watch Netflix. I want to have 2 screens that have access to Netflix. Like, whoa, big dog.
Soon it's going to be half the screen.
Actually, you get a quarter of a screen.
$44.99 a
Dude,
month.
and then they added the thing
it's like a
where,
quad
like,
box where
you
get
have
the
to
top
pay
left corner.
extra to be able to get, like, the better quality video for movies. Like, bro, I mean, the greed is actually next level. I just want to watch a show, bro.
Yeah. A show
Yeah.
that doesn't suck.
A
So,
show
yeah,
that's
this
good.
This does all come down to shareholders at the end of the day. Warner Brothers wants to go to Netflix. The ultimate question, if Netflix even manages to buy it, is like, what do they do with it? Netflix, I don't think has any interest in broadcast TV at all. They have no reason to. So what would happen with like CNN or TBS or, these things that Warner Brothers directly owns that Netflix really has no need for? Would those get sold? Would they be operated as an independent company? I have no idea. But
also the mix of they most likely wouldn't be able to take everything Warner Bros. Has because of,
they just get all of
monopoly
the IP
stuff. So they it's mainly about the IPs, but they can't literally have
Netflix-
everything technically under one name. So they would have to.
Netflix doesn't really run into that issue as much.
That's
Paramount would, and it's what Disney ran into with Fox. Disney got most of Fox, but they couldn't take Fox Sports. That was
Yeah, that's
Fox
why,
Sports and
like-
Fox News were literally the only 2 things, and Netflix doesn't have those 2 things.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I just mean.
and they don't really want them, I don't think. But
Yeah, they probably wouldn't be able to get every single thing, but they're gonna get everything that actually matters.
yeah, so we can get more Lord of the Rings stuff probably. That's also ruined, and more DC stuff that'll somehow be even worse than the current DC thing. Bring back the Snyderverse, and the soon we'll get Zack Snyder, James Gunn written movies. It'll just be the worst thing ever. You'll just be watching. Someone will say a horrible joke that doesn't make any sense, and it'll be in slow motion.
And it'll be in slow motion, and it'll be the darkest shot you've ever seen in your life.
With a
And
whole bunch of colors thrown onto it.
They'll bust a joke and then just stand there stoically.
And then they'll cuck James Gunn.
What are we,
They'll
some
watch
kind of Superman?
Now let's go have sex with the director's wife.
Recast Lois Lane.
like that. I don't know. It's just that's what's gonna happen. So, yeah. I don't know what's gonna happen with DC. They can't relaunch it again. So
They really
I
can't.
think
Like-
James Gunn's gonna get Mana tomorrow. I think they'll pull the plug after that. I think they've realized that he is not prepared for the job. Dude, DC is
If
just
only
as
we
dried
could
up.
have. If only we could have had the Rock's DCU. It would have been so good.
The hierarchy of the DC universe is
The
about to
hierarchy of
change.
the DC.
What was I about to say? Yeah, dude, DC's dried up. That Supergirl thing's the first actual news that's dropped. That there's that stupid account DC Film News, most unbiased news source ever. They were posting a screenshot from a red carpet where someone dressed as Crypto was taking a picture with Nicholas Hoult, and it was like, looks like they've made up ahead of Mana tomorrow. And I was like, there's nothing happening that you're posting this DC Film News.
Yeah,
You
this
can't-
is the news
you
we're
couldn't
getting.
think of anything else. Not quite as dead as Marvel.
Not
which
quite.
allegedly there's a Doomsday trailer around the corner.
Bro,
soon.
I keep seeing like the same couple creators posting like, I'm so excited to go to Avatar, not even for the movie, just so I can get the Doomsday and Supergirl trailers. And I'm like, bro, no, you're not.
Well, in
Shut
fairness,
up.
that'll probably be the only thing you'll remember after leaving.
You
the
just
theater
want to
from
get
that.
invited to the red carpet, bro. Shut up.
And then that'll be the only thing you remember after leaving the theater. You're like, I was just in there for 3 hours. What happened? I got to go back and rewatch Avatar.
Avatar is like the opposite of Dune. While you're watching it, you're like, this is the best thing I've ever seen. And then afterwards, you're like, what even happened? Dune, you're like, bro, nothing's happening. And then afterwards, you're like, that's the best movie I've ever seen in my life.
I remember we cracked that code. That's why Avatar makes $3 quadrillion every time it comes out, because you just leave the theater and you're like, I was just in there for 3 hours. I must have missed. I must
so good. What happened?
No, you're just like, you don't even remember you saw a movie. You're just like, I was in there for 3 hours. What happened? Then you look up at the screen like, oh, Avatar 3's out. I should go watch that. And then you go in and you watch that. And you just, it's a loop. It's an endless cycle. You gotta, so, once Avatar 3 comes out, guys, go to your local theater and free some people from the cycle. I'm gonna watch the first 2 Avatar movies soon. I'm not looking forward to it because I just don't expect them to be any good whatsoever.
You probably won't like either of them.
I just don't expect them to be good when I know that the MacGuffin of the movie is called unobtainium. That's just that's just an instant red flag for me of being like, this is gonna be the stupidest thing ever.
Bro, it's literally like, just call it unobtainium and then we'll come up with a name for it later. And they're like, oh, we forgot to update that.
Did anyone change the title? It's still Papyrus?
Did anyone change the script? It still says unobtainium.
It's literally, the title is Papyrus. That's the logo.
Somebody just highlighted it and clicked Papyrus.
That's the best SNL. Yeah, one of the best SNL sketches ever. One of the most iconic. So hopefully, I think 100%. We should be getting Papyrus 3 here soon, because they released Papyrus 2 when Avatar 2 came out. So, all right.
Hopefully Ryan Gosling's not too busy making what's gonna be bottom 3 Star Wars movies ever. Bottom four. The sequels exist.
I had hoped that it was gonna be good, and then they were talking about some Rey cameo at the end.
They were talking about Rey cameo, and it's like, oh, he's transporting a Force-sensitive child. That's every Star Wars movie or project that's dropped in the last 10 years.
I was like, oh, it's gonna suck.
Like, oh, somebody who's not some non-Force sensitive has to take this Force-sensitive child.
Sean Levy, who directed the episodes. He directed some Stranger Things episode, but they're the Stranger Things season 1 episodes that aren't as good as the other one. It's like, because I've been rewatching it and it was like, they're all pretty good, but the directing, you can tell some of them, like the ones that Sean Levy did, it's like that same dead behind the eyes that Deadpool and Wolverine had, where it's like, it's just like there's nothing interesting going on here on screen. So they should have got let's be real. They should have got Joseph Kosinski and the guys who did F1 and Top Gun Maverick, because it's Star Wars Starfighter.
Yeah, it could literally just be Space Top Gun, and they're like, nah.
Could have just printed money, but yeah, sure.
Yeah, you could literally just be printing money.
Yeah,
easy $1 billion.
Disney doesn't like doing that. They're not big fans.
Disney doesn't like to be successful with their projects.
Hey, that's for the 50th anniversary, though. It's Star Wars Starfighter. 50 years of Star Wars, and that's what we're getting. I hope it's a 7 out of 10 movie. It seems like it could be a 7 out of 10 movie.
I hope it's a 10 out of 10 movie. It's not gonna be.
Let's be real. But I'm saying I'm being realistic here. Okay, I'm saying it sounds like the most 7 out of 10 movie to ever 7 out of 10. So I just hope it stays that way.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's gonna be good. It's not gonna be the most compelling plot.
It'll be better than Grogu and.
But I hope it's visually great, and I hope the sound design is great because it's Starfighter. It's not gonna
watch Star Wars in the last. You watch Star Wars?
I know. I said I hope. I said I hope. That's why you get the guy that did Top Gun Maverick
and F1
and F1. 2 movies that look amazing, have a style, and their audio is also fantastic.
January though, 25 years, Lord of the Rings coming back to theaters. Should I run it back? I
Dude,
watched them this year.
I'll watch them all again.
I watched them this year for the first time in theaters, extended editions, in IMAX, and now it's coming back out officially, though, in IMAX. That was a flashback cinema thing.
Yeah,
so
that was just like
I might have to run it back.
I mean,
obviously, I'm going to run it back. I'm running it back. But, yeah, so 25 years.
I will be watching all 3.
Is it Fellowship? That's what came out in 2000?
Yeah,
Fellowship. Yeah. So 25 years of Fellowship. I think they're showing all 3 extendeds in the theaters, so... at least something good on movie theater screens will come out next year.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
it's going to be a re-release, but
yeah.
I would honestly rather a studio literally just re-release Lord of the Rings every single year than keep making live action remakes of animated stuff. If they literally just do Fellowship, 2 Towers, Return of the King, one every year for 3 months. in the
Just
middle
do
of the
every
year.
4 months. Every 4 months you'd release
Every 4
one.
months we release one of them.
You
I'm
went to watch
gonna
Return of the
go.
King every December, like in theaters.
I'm going every single
Hey,
time.
Netflix. When you buy Warner Brothers, take notes. You can do this.
Please,
You can
please do.
this.
You will print money yearly. You're
yeah.
literally just gonna get a yearly allowance from that.
Yeah. Well, for the
You
most
won't.
part.
You would lose
Corbin,
money. But
Corbin, did you see Did you watch Revenge of the Sith when they re-released it in theaters?
No, not now.
Okay.
I did. It was awesome.
I should.
Yeah, it's still.
But
Unfortunately, the movie was still.
Yeah, I mean, it's
alright.
not the best movie ever, but it's like
Unfortunately, they didn't.
it was
they
my
didn't make it.
It was my childhood favorite Star Wars movie, and I actually got to see it in theaters, so it was awesome.
But yeah, that made that was
It made a decent
I
amount of
believe it
money.
was 40 million. It was like number
Yeah.
2 at the box office when it happened.
Yeah,
So
it was as far as re-releases go, it was pretty solid.
but yeah, hey, there's a little hint. I want the Star Wars remake is gonna do a lot of money. I hope they should just re-release the non-digitally, like as it came out in theaters in '77. So
Yeah,
that would be
that
smart.
would be awesome.
That'd be smart for them to do. Will they do it? Who knows? It's Disney. They are addicted to not making money. So they're gonna make a lot with Avatar. Oh, I'd be so sad. Like, I haven't even seen the movies to hate them this much, but I'd just be so satisfied if that just crashed and burned and did like 200 million at the box office. Like, I know they will. I know it'll make 1.8 billion, but like,
Bro,
still.
There's also gonna be, there's gonna be 2 more movies, and James Cameron already said that the main villain from the second movie is gonna be the villain for all of them. So it's like there's literally just no stakes for the next 3 movies.
James Cameron used to make good movies.
He did.
and then he got hooked on this Avatar thing for some reason. For whatever reason, he decided that's the thing.
Yeah, he went, let me make 4 more of them and take, I don't know, 13 years to make the second one.
And I've somehow still made money.
It's what I don't understand is like you make a movie in 2009, it makes $1 billion. It's like the most successful movie ever.
$2 billion.
Well, yeah, but like you hit the billion mark, you're the most successful movie ever made, unadjusted for inflation, and you go, I'm not gonna start on a sequel right away, and start printing myself some more money.
In fairness, he took 7 years between Terminator and Terminator 2, so
Yeah, that's pretty rough.
seems it kind of runs in.
He takes his sweet time, but
It's a trend, All right, I think we've stalled too much. We should.
yeah, we got to get to
move on to
FNAF.
the-
That's kind of like the main point of the stream.
Yeah, but that means we have to talk about it.
Yeah,
All
but
right,
then we have to
let's
think
start-
about
okay,
it.
okay. All right, let's start with the non-spoiler thoughts before we switch over to spoilers. Jake, I'll start with you. You're the one who's seen it most recently. You were on the boat though. What is your non-spoiler thoughts on this movie? Five Nights at Freddy's 2.
I think this movie was a big fat 2 out of 10. The plot was, I mean, I just felt like I was watching somebody's life for like 3 days. Like I just, it wasn't interesting at all. And the entire time I was watching the movie, I was like waiting for like all the interesting stuff to happen, and it just never did. Like in FNAF 1, you get a lot of cool moments with the animatronics and you get the reveals and stuff. In this movie, you technically get them, but they just don't feel interesting at all. And and it's not just that like, oh, we get to see these new animatronics, these are the ones we get. It's not just that I think those scenes are bad. It's the build up to the scenes and how you get there. I'm not invested. Like it has the random, like the ghost hunter girl who we've like just this random person introduced for 5 seconds. And then,
spoiler!
I'm not gonna continue. I'm not gonna
Wow,
continue.
Horrific, bro. This guy's horrible.
I'm not spoiling.
Bro,
It's
can you believe this guy, Corbin?
shut
You're
up.
literally
This is
believe-
this
you're
is my
literally
time.
believe-
This is my time.
This is not
it's
It's your
time, bro.
non-spoiler time, buddy.
I know I'm not gonna spoil.
Yes, you are.
I'm not
you're
gonna spoil. No, I'm
blatant-
not. I wasn't gonna say what happens. Can I talk? You're not
No.
the enlightened monkey, bro. You're not. Anyway, as I was saying, you
just punched his desk, Corbin. Did you hear that? He just punched his
Yeah,
desk.
bro.
I didn't mean
Absolutely.
to. I hit my
This guy's
mic on
rage
accident.
baited
I hit
all
my
the
mic on
rage
accident.
Nah, you punched your mic.
I was gesturing and I hit my mic arm. Chill
Right,
out.
Oh, you were gesturing, yeah.
I was gesturing.
You know what? I'm starting to think this movie might be amazing.
Okay, shut up. Let me continue. I'm just like these characters
Fantastic.
for like your first animatronic reveal in the movie. It's characters you literally just met 5 seconds ago, and you don't care. Shut up. You don't care about them at all, and you like. I don't know their names. If I don't know a character's name, I'm not gonna be like, "Ooh, what's happening?" I don't care. I met you 4 seconds ago, and then the whole. That's a spoiler, but. Just the way all the animatronic stuff happens, it's literally just uninteresting, contrived garbage.
Okay. Corbin,
Yes.
you saw it. Was your theater sold out?
Almost.
But it was like people were going crazy. I'm assuming during the.
Bro, there was hella like diehards in there.
Okay.
like,
Okay. I was just.
costumes on all this.
Sorry,
stuff.
this is just. I'm building my theory, and I needed to confirm this before. Okay. Sorry. Corbin, your thoughts on the movie? I know you enjoyed it far more than us, but your thoughts.
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot, actually. I liked it way better than the first movie. I thought this one was scarier. I thought it had better action. I don't know. I just thought the movie was a bit more complete, and I feel like it actually left cliffhangers for the third movie to, eventually go off of. I felt like the first movie, the biggest problem I had with it was it felt like it was done at like everything had like a tie, which isn't how the franchise goes, which is gonna be my problems with the movie later on, is because they mess some stuff up in the first movie, and I feel like the second movie tries to fix what they did in the first movie, so it gets kind of weird. If you're going off of like the lore and the movies, which we'll get to that, but no, I enjoyed it a lot. Like I definitely go watch it again. I want to go see it again to see like different Easter eggs and stuff that I had missed. But was the plot the greatest thing I've ever seen in my entire life? Obviously not. I wasn't expecting to get that. I was just expecting like a fun movie that goes along with the FNAF timeline. And I know you guys knew I was gonna say, oh, it was a fun movie, but yeah, that's the kind of movies that I like personally. So yeah, no, I thought it was great.
Can I
Hold on? If it's quick, it's my time. It's my time.
It's
my time.
Caleb's
Okay,
time.
well,
It's
I'm
gotta be quick.
requesting it.
Fine,
You can
actually.
say no.
Make it quick.
Just to address a little bit of what Corbin said, I thought it was way less scary, and all of the parts that were supposed to be scary.
Okay, hold on. It's not.
felt-
We're not. Hold on. Wait. Okay. If you're just, I thought you were gonna like make a minor point. I don't need you to just sit here and tell Corbin he was wrong. Okay, that was an opinion on the movie. This is the non-spoiler opinion on the movie. Okay. My thoughts on this movie. So, this is a movie that is made to be watched in a theater full of people who have zero interest into whether the story, plot, or writing of the movie makes sense. It's a movie to be seen in a theater full of people who are there for all of the fun references and moments, so that when everyone goes wild and cheers, you feel like you're going wild and cheered and you think you're getting a good experience. That's part of the reason I think, Corbin, you said you enjoyed this a lot more than the first one. There was a lot more key jangle reference in this. Maybe it's not all that. This is a theory, all right? Maybe it's not true at all. Maybe it's even subconscious.
It's just a theory.
I watched it
Just
in
a
a
theory.
movie theater that was empty. I'm not kidding. There was nobody in the theater. Now, it's because it was 3:20 on a Tuesday. Okay, this movie is doing fairly well at the box office, which is to be expected. Well, comparatively to what it is. So, but it's 3:20 on a Tuesday. Theater is empty. I was jokingly doing the sarcastic, "Oh my gosh, it's the puppet" thing. And that's not a spoiler. That's obviously in the trailer. That everyone would be doing. And it's like, when you're watching it by yourself, you're not getting all the people going crazy with every little key jangling reference. To me, this is insane to me because I looked it up, and Scott Cawthorne, the creator of the games, is a co-writer on this movie. I'm just going to ignore that because it doesn't make sense to me for now. Like, this feels like a studio saw an IP that is super popular, but thought what that IP represented is outdated and not good, and they could make it better. And so they tried to they changed so much stuff that's not worth changing. because they thought it was going to be scarier, like the puppet, which we'll get into once we go to the non-spoiler section, or I can't say that name, but we'll get there. They just changed things that they did not need to change. Part of that was the first movie. If you could go back to last week's episode when me and Corbin were previewing it, I was kind of like of the opinion of like they didn't really need to follow the games. That was before I saw what they just did. They had no plan as to what they were actually doing with this timeline. They made changes for the sake of having characters in that didn't need to be, and it wrecks the whole movie. If they had just followed the game, it would have flowed better. The story would have been more compelling. It would have been scarier, and it would have been a better homage to the original game. This, to me, feels like a bastardization of what Five Nights at Freddy's is. And I'm not even the guy who's like super passionate about like the lore and stuff. I just know it all. And I don't think it's in the greatest thing ever, but I think, it's interesting enough. And it is an era. These are movies made for this era. In 50 years, if they tried to make a FNAF movie, no one would see it. This is for the kids who grew up watching Markiplier, as you can see in the background of Corbin, and watching Game Theory, early internet games without, that is an era. It will always be an era, and it's going to not be a thing that's going to exist. I think they could have gotten 5 to 6 movies out that would have been profitable. I think they're realistically only going to get 3. Maybe they'll get a 4th. But I think you're going to start seeing diminishing returns at the box office. And I think when you watch this movie by yourself at home, you're gonna be like, this is so much better when I saw it in theaters. And I do think it's because it is that experience. I also want to say positively, the movie looks really good. The animatronics all look pretty good, and it's a lower budget, which is something I've been saying that movies should do for a while. And it's gonna make money, which is a better positive than anything I can say about any of it. So, that being said, I know people do enjoy it, and I understand the idea behind why they enjoy it. I think the plot sucks. I think it's incoherent as hell. And yeah, all right. That's the non-spoiler thoughts. Real quick, Jake, what were you saying to Corbin?
Oh, so I just didn't think it was scary at all. In all the parts.
This is your opinion,
Yeah. This is opinion. All the parts that were like, when you're watching it, this is supposed to be like a scary scene. It felt like when I was seeing the characters interact with everything and like interact with the animatronics and everything, it felt like the Kenobi show, like blocking and like Leia running around. It felt like that. Like that's what all of the scary scenes felt like to me. So none of it, I was like, oh. Like in the first one, there were scenes that I was like, oh, what's gonna happen? This one, it literally just felt like I was watching toddlers walk around in, like, not doing anything.
I haven't seen the first one. I know, Corbin, I know you rewatched it before you saw this one.
Like,
I haven't seen the first one since I watched it in theaters, in a packed theater on opening night. I'm assuming I would find it worse. I never thought it was incredible. I was like, okay, that's a fun story set in a using properties from Five Nights at Freddy's. It's not a FNAF story. Yeah. Now that I know that they're trying to make it a FNAF story, it makes me so much. I dislike it a lot more. But all right, I don't. Unless there's any other thoughts that anyone has that are non-spoiler or any of that, which I'd appreciate if we get out now in case there was anyone who was watching this section before we move into spoiler stuff. Corbin, you got anything? Jake?
I feel
I
like all the suspense and stuff. Just one last thing. I felt more suspense playing the FNAF 1 game on a computer. No. Let me explain what I'm saying. I'm not done. I felt more suspense playing it in a crowded computer lab in 3rd grade at school in the middle of the day than I did in a dark room watching this movie.
Because you're
hold on. That's because you're the one playing it, though. That's a different.
That's true, but.
I hope it would.
I feel more like stress doing that.
Right, this movie's amazing, bro.
I'm just saying.
Jake, listen. I know you're the movie guy. Well, Caleb's the movie guy, and you're like the sub movie guy. You're like also kind of there. That was the worst take I think I've ever heard in my entire life. Of course, playing the game would be more scary because you are actively invested in trying to beat the game. That's part of it. So no, duh. No duh that you would get more
Me and
scared
Corbin are
at
the
thing,
monkeys
though.
here.
Yeah, we are the monkeys because that was the
the
worst
point
justification.
the point I
have
was
ever heard.
making is I can be sitting in broad daylight surrounded by people and I'm more
And you're in the
scared
third
than I
grade?
was watching a movie by myself.
And you said you were in the third grade as well, so like I don't.
That's a good point. That's a good point. But
Yeah, your argument's kind of falling apart here.
that's fair. Yeah, the point I was making wasn't articulated very well. It's just not scary at all.
Okay, let's chuck the little spoiler banner up on screen. Let me know when you got it, and we'll get a small little buffer.
It is up.
All right, so spoilers are about to start. We're about to explain the plot of the movie. We're going to talk about specific reveals and scenes. If you don't want that, don't stop listening. Click off. You got time while I'm rambling right now. All right, real quick, Corbin, you said you actually enjoy this movie. Do you have a reasoning other than it's fun? I'm not necessarily saying that that's wrong. You can have fun at a movie, and it can be a sucky
Yes.
movie. I'm just wondering if
yeah.
you have a reason.
Hold on. So first of all, I'm gonna lead off with yes, it's a fun movie. Being super invested in the lore and all that stuff for a good majority of my childhood definitely makes this movie better. Which is
It
what
makes it better?
It makes it better because they're finally making a movie about it. There are some parts that I am. There are some parts
Another
that
part of my
I
theory.
am going to rip on them for later, but I don't know. I listen. Unlike you guys, I don't dive into movies and I'm like, oh, I need to look at all the plot. And I enjoy things at face value, like which I feel like you guys like. What you do is you just like go super in depth, and that's
Hold
totally
on.
cool.
No, hold on. I don't go in
What
depth.
up?
I watch the movie, which is a story, and if the story doesn't make sense, I say that's a bad story.
The story
you
of the
go-
movie
I'm
is the
saying-
face value, and the
Yeah.
story sucks. Therefore, the face value of the
You're-
movie is garbage.
You're describing secondary watching where you're on Instagram Reels and you're scrolling, and it's like, okay, and you can kind of pay attention. You're gonna get fun moments. That's more what you're describing.
No, I'm saying
Face value of a movie is the story,
yes, but you guys
or it's
you guys
bright
break
colors.
it. You guys break it down.
I'm
Like,
not even
you-
breaking it down. I'm just saying the story isn't good.
That's not.
If your parents tell you a bedtime story and it sucks,
My
Then
parents
it's a
did not
bad
tell me
story.
bedtime stories, bro.
yeah, because you're 19 years old. I'm saying if you're a child and your parents tell you, if your parents read you "Go Dogs Go," you can go. If you're dumb, you can go. This story sucks because it's bad. You don't have to go in depth to the lore of "Go Dogs Go" to say it's good or bad.
Okay, hold on. Let me just. I'm just gonna put this in a basic example. So, if in the opening scene, which is a terrible scene, and we'll go through it, if Charlotte had grown wings and flown into the moon and then landed on the moon and built the Eiffel Tower and said, "Here is the cheese wheel," that obviously would be a bad. And then after that, they just go about the movie the rest of the way. You'd be like, "Why is that in the movie? That doesn't make any sense. That doesn't tie into the story." Obviously, it's not that
Yeah.
ridiculous. That was an over exaggeration. That's my point of like, that's the face value I'm looking at. It's just it's not going to be as if you are not actually watching the movie and you're more just like absorbing colors on the screen, I guess is the way. Like if you're not comprehending is probably not the right word, but like processing maybe is closer. Somewhere in between those two words.
Yeah,
What's
if
going
you're
on?
actually if you watch a scene and then remember the scene and later in the movie you go, "Oh, that's cuz that thing happened." That's understanding the movie as opposed to just like
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to sound as I'm not trying to sound as insulting as Jake. That Jake
That's
sounded
true.
mad condescending there. I'm just trying to say like if you're not like actually tying in what's happened, like scene A affects scene B, which affects scene C, which affects scene D, instead of scene A happened, awesome, let's see what happens in scene B. Is if that's more what I'm saying. So, all right, let's start with the opening scene. So, I knew that this. I was holding out hope. I wasn't expecting a great movie. I was expecting like, some fun FNAF references, which I think we got, and then but like a passable story underneath, which is what the first movie was. Dude, and then the first scene happened. I was like, okay, so we've just lost the plot entirely. So, we get the opening scene of this girl who is Charlotte, which, real ones were like, "Oh my gosh, it's the puppet! Look, she's got the black and white striped shirt. Oh,
It's Charlie.
yeah,
Her
exactly.
name's in the lore name's Charlie.
Everyone knows this. And so, she's like, I'm waiting for something. It's like, oh, what is she's waiting for the puppet because the puppet was made for her by her dad. So that was happening. And then you see a kid get lured into the back by Springtrap. Suit looked awesome. And he's like, come back here. And then this sequence occurs that's super weirdly shot of her like walking up to different parents going like, there's a boy in trouble, like screaming. And then it's like the parents like just brushing her off. Like, and it's like the first, you'd get one. It's like that would happen in real life. You'd get one or two of those. I think it would make a scene and, maybe scream louder. Maybe
it's also like a clear, it's not like her going, hey, 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 hey. It's like a clearly distressed, terrified child.
Exactly.
That you wouldn't ignore. Even if like, just as a parent in general, even if
And
it's
keep
not your
pestering,
kid,
maybe
if you see
pester
like
a little bit more.
a terrified, freaking out child, you're going to be like,
and I'll tell
"Are
you
you
what,
okay?
if some
Where are
if
your
some unk
parents?"
wants to come in and go like, well, in the 80s, they operated differently.
Like,
Feel
no.
free. No, hold on. I'm
Child.
saying, hey, shut up, bro. I'm saying if an unk who was a child in the 80s wants to go and say, well, our parents, they were moving different in the 80s. Feel free. I'm gonna go off logic until then and say that was stupid to me. She then makes the decision to chase him in the back. Maybe if genuinely we're just in this scenario of like all of these parents do just ignore her, then sure, maybe that she would just run to the back. That I'm willing to go with if we're jumping past the first logical hurdle. She gets to the back, and it was a good moment of Afton sitting there. I was assuming he was washing the blood off his knife and whistling the FNAF music, which is funny. And then it's just revealed instead he actually just knocked the boy out for some. Like I don't need to see a child brutally murdered. By the way, like I'm just saying like. It's like it's kind of
just
weird
knocked
that he
him out, but then he was like washing his hands.
Yeah,
or
that was
something like.
Well, so usually he cuts the head off first. So I think I actually I don't know. This is definitely a theory, so don't like take this as like.
It's just.
But usually what he does, it's just a theory. But usually, so usually he cuts the head off, which we see in later games and also like in the books.
We're not. Hold on. Before you even make this theory, we cannot go. Well, in the games he does this, so therefore this is why it works in the movie. We can make that justification later, but until because there is almost nothing in these other than the fact that these animatronics exist that are like, these rules work the exact same.
Yeah, no, I'm just trying to explain why it would make sense that he'd knock the boy out before he stabbed him. It doesn't make a lot of sense, in my opinion. No. Also, going back to the parents thing, they messed that up from the lore. Which the thing is I like whenever I was watching the movie, I was trying to connect it to the lore the best I could. Maybe that's why I enjoyed it so much because I was literally like, oh, that happened. That
Bro,
can
but I don't
correlate
understand because I was
with
doing
this
that too,
part.
but it just pissed me off more because it's like a bastardization of it.
I mean, I just didn't feel that way. I don't know. But in the original story, Charlie or Charlotte, is supposed to get killed in an alleyway.
Yeah.
And she gets locked out of the building, so she's shut out, which we.
Well, she's bullied by kids, which they set that up, but then they wanted to have because, bro, this is where we'll get to where I was talking about where these characters who that they desperately needed to introduce for some reason that ruined so much of this movie. Vanessa being the main one in this circumstance of because Vanessa existed, they were like, yeah, let's just have her. She's just there now, and so then they were like, Vanessa was like, come to the party. And then now you can't do the bullied outside scene. And this all just boiled down to the fact that they don't want to show anyone get murdered in this movie for the most part. Like, and obviously they can't do it brutally because it's going to be PG-13. Like I said, I'm not sitting here like, they didn't have the child get brutally murdered in this movie. This is terrible. I'm just saying of like, that was, in the lore in the game, she gets like the crap kicked out of her in the alleyway.
Yeah.
But.
And then brutally stabbed to death.
Yes.
Yeah.
But what, like, I understand what you're saying, but it still doesn't. Even if he is cutting the head off first, I would assume he would kill the child first. He wouldn't like knock them out and have them laying on the ground. Because the longer he takes to do all this, the more chance he has of getting caught.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe because they were trying to build it up, and she was supposed to be this. Because I think they were trying to build her to be like this savior, because that is what the puppet, like the puppet, and well, the girl Charlie is supposed to be a savior who cares for others, who eventually turns into the puppet because people didn't help her back, and that's why she goes on a killing spree, like we do see in the movie. So that part does make some sense, but I don't really know why he knocked
It's just
him
weird.
out. And
I just found it
that
weird.
was a bit weird.
That was weird. I don't, him taking, and especially when he took his mask off. That was also, it's like he took his mask off, and I don't know. That was all a little weird. And then she grabs him, runs him out, and is getting stabbed while it happens. Adrenaline. Maybe she wouldn't feel it.
Mm-hmm.
Look, all this I think was shot a little weird. It doesn't make a lot of sense, but I don't really have a huge problem with it until she runs out, does the weird yelling thing, like it was like they were trying to write Daredevil, but they'd only seen the screaming scenes. And they wanted to keep, and they were like, people liked when he screamed, so we'll do the screaming thing. So she walks out and screams, drops the kid, and then it's flipped over. This is important. Her back is shown to these hundreds of witnesses that she has been stabbed multiple times.
Mm-hmm.
This is immediately where I have another problem of, okay, he knocked that boy out. She's close enough range that he can stab her. Why didn't he just grab her to make her unconscious as well?
Yeah, if he can stab her 3 times, while she's also carrying a child that's the same size as her, running, I feel like you should be able to stop her.
That's
I thought
fair.
that was a little weird. I thought that was weird.
That was one of the scenes. There's other ones later. That was one of the scenes that felt like the Kenobi to me.
Yeah,
It's
just
like
the child runs away.
The characters just aren't interacting in a realistic way in their physical space. Like the blocking of it just feels weird.
Okay, hold on. We do have to get ahead of this real quick before anyone goes, it's a movie about possessed demon animatronics. You think it's going to be realistic? This is where it's a good time to point out.
It's going to be
it needs to be
internally
coherent.
realistic.
It needs to be internally coherent. And this is set in the real world where demon-possessed animatronics is a possibility. All right? That's what you got to import. So
I'm not going, dude, he couldn't be in an animatronic suit. He couldn't do that. I'm saying the guy in an animatronic suit that's killed a lot of kids is probably going to be able to kill this kid who's carrying another kid.
Yeah, we're not going to sit here and go, actually, the puppet count, you can't actually possess someone with a puppet.
Actually, dead kids don't possess animatronic puppets.
Yeah,
that doesn't
what
happen.
we're saying here is context of the universe. It's the normal world where this can happen. So, she doesn't have super strength and speed. Super strength, you can give her that adrenaline, so she's able to carry the kid while getting stabbed, and it's not going to affect her. I literally, you could give me all this. I'd be like, that's a little weird, but it's fine. It's them revealing to the hundreds of witnesses she's been stabbed, and then all of the newspapers, she falls down into the trap door, which is also important, and we'll get to that later, and it's like, accident at Freddy's. It's like immediately like, that's not an accident, twin. That was 3 visible, clear, obvious stab wounds to the spine. And then later in the movie, they're like, it was covered up. It's like, no.
There were dozens of witnesses.
Corbin, you're the lore guy. This is one of the first things where I was like, this is just, whoever wrote this, which weirdly it was one of the writers of the games was involved in writing this, doesn't have an understanding of what happens in, why it makes sense. Corbin, remind everyone why why it was able to be labeled as the missing children's incident, not the murder of 5 children.
So the way they play it off in the games is that a child goes into a unrestricted area, which I think in the games they said they go into the parts and services room. I'm pretty sure is what they say, and they get tangled with animatronic parts.
He shoves their bodies in the animatronics.
Yeah. Well,
that's what I'm going for the baseline of that's why that's why it just gets shut down, because the kids went missing. It wasn't kid was murdered. Yeah.
They can't find the kids' bodies, obviously.
Exactly.
Yeah. There's not proof they were murdered.
Yes, exactly. But they count it as an accident. Especially like Charlie's. Charlie's is different because
Hers,
Because you
but
do-
it was
you
so
do-
brutally
you do find the
mangled,
body.
right? That was
Yeah.
technically what happened with hers.
And then
Right.
they were like, "Oh, it was an accident in the back alley. We don't know who it was because it wasn't in the restaurant."
A
That's
random
hers,
act of
so it's-
violence. That random
yeah,
act
random
of
act of violence.
But
So it's very different. The other kids, it's like, oh, they must have gotten into some weird.
they don't know where
stuff
they
out
are.
in the
They don't know
back.
where they are. They
So
can't find the
it's-
body. There's no proof it was a murder. So it's just the missing children's incident. Is the point I was
And then-
making here? It's like
yeah, exactly.
the accident
then-
cover-up thing doesn't work when hundreds of parents and children see this stabbed to death girl clearly on the stage with lights flashing on her fall into the pit.
Into the
It's
pit.
the 80s. There's not DNA technology, but they can look at the stab wound and go, hey, I think that's a stab wound.
Yeah, they can look at her back and go, "Oh, she was stabbed 3 times with a knife."
Yeah. Yeah, but I think they play it off in the movie as kind of the same thing where it's like she went to the back, you're not supposed to be back there. She got tangled with the animatronic parts, and that's why she came out like that. It doesn't make
But
a ton of
it's
sense
clear knife
realistically.
stab wound.
Yes, I know. Yes, I know. It doesn't make a ton of sense.
What doesn't make
Not
sense to me
really.
is the movie they could have managed to play it off if she just ran out, screamed, dropped the boy, and then got dropped
Fell
into
through
the
the trap
thing
door.
and
And then he
didn't
drags her body away or something. Like, you just got to add a scene
or
two.
she would have gotten mangled when she
the
fell.
cogs or whatever. You can't show the visible, obvious, clear stab wounds to the spectating audience.
Mm-hmm.
She fell and she ended with her back towards the people. When all they need to do is just have her fall on her side, not facing the people, and then drop through the trapdoor.
That would have made more sense.
That would have helped.
Yes.
And then add another scene of him sneaking in there, grabbing her body, and dragging it away. And then, if you were going full, trying to actually adapt the game lore, have him beat the corpse or whatever. Or mangled in the corpse and then thrown to the alley. Who knows? Something like that instead of just being like, hey, everybody, here's all these stab wounds that happened clearly in Freddy's. Whereas with Charlie's death in the games, it was in the alleyway, outside of it, but she was trapped outside type thing. It's this to me, that was just to me set up. To me, this gets worse when later in the movie, they explain that Vanessa went back there and talked to the possessed corpse. We'll talk about the possession later. So I'm really confused at what happened there. So is the body, because obviously the puppet rises up holding the body. Did no one grab the body? What?
I mean they don't show it in the movie, so
I think when she talked to her, it might have been like how at the end they talk to the kid that possesses Freddy. I think it might be like that. Like you can see him, but they're not really there physically.
But the problem is the
like
movie
that.
shows us them actually getting possessed. Like it shows the ghost hunter girl actually getting possessed. It shows Abby actually getting possessed. It shows Vanessa actually getting possessed by the puppet.
Yeah.
So what they show us is that body is a physical thing that's actually down there and real. But it needs the body itself to go into.
That is
So,
a bit odd.
I don't know. So, you're not going to have an answer to that because it's just not explained. But it's just, because then it either means A, no one grabbed the corpse, or B, you're telling me the police didn't go down into the trapdoor where the body fell when they were investigating this
They
accident.
didn't look for the body.
I think at that point they probably kind of just looked at it and they were like, well, she died in the puppet's arms. The puppet's her guardian, and the soul goes into the puppet. Like,
why would the
no,
police say that?
No, he's not saying the police. He's saying
no,
as far as the
no,
Oh,
possession.
okay, the story.
And
I
I-
was like,
no,
why
I'm not
would
even
the
saying-
cops say?
no.
But I'm not
as far
saying-
as
I'm
the
not saying-
story,
Yeah.
But I'm
and
just-
then,
I'm
and then the
literally-
police could grab her body, and then
Yes,
but
but
her
I'm
soul is
specifically
already.
But I'm specifically talking about how Vanessa talked to a physical body of the corpse of Charlotte. When she first is explaining what the music box does, they show down there in the cogs, her talking to the corpse. I don't know if that was supposed to be like what you're saying, Jake, where it was like they're talking to the boy at the end. They just did a really bad job of tying together that with what they show us later with the puppet actually possessing them, and they didn't think that through. I don't know. Just to me, it's just like, okay, so something is wrong here. And I'm not saying the police have to be extremely competent, because I think they're pretty incompetent across the board in the FNAF universe for the most part.
But they should
But
be like what
even
they do
incompetent
should make
police-
sense.
Yeah, even incompetent police would look at 3 stab wounds on the spine and go, I
Oh.
think this was a murder.
I think she got stabbed.
I think there's
Unless they
someone
got-
hanging right there.
They might have Hitman NPCs. Oh, this is an accident.
They might have. Oh,
She
Oh,
was
this-
stabbed 3 times, but she got dropped through the trap door, so they were like, accident kill.
accident kill.
Green gun, silent assassin. William Afton still has green guns. All right. This is where I immediately am foggy about. So you get the fun trailer scene. I say fun. The little opening credits thing, where I'm
No,
sitting here.
That was tough. I like that.
Yeah, it looked cool,
it's a-
but then
it's some
that's where
Easter
all
eggs
these
in the
problems come in,
background,
and they're
it's
like,
tough.
it was an accident. And I'm like, what?
It's like
She was stabbed.
girl blamed. It's like she got stabbed in the back 3 times.
Exactly. Yeah, like,
she went to the back room, bro. You don't
but
know
that
what's going on
doesn't
in the
matter
back
because
room.
it shot like she still died clearly via kitchen knife stab wound.
Yeah, it's not like she walked back there, stubbed her toe, and then like her parents tried to sue, and they went, well, she wasn't supposed to be back there. It's this little girl's fault. She got stabbed to death.
And I would assume that the boy would actively be like, yeah, I was just following Golden Bonnie back there. And they'd be like, you followed a guy. And then they're like, well, obviously it's a suit.
Mhm.
Yeah, it was like, oh, I followed a massive golden bunny, and then he knocked
but
me unconscious
So
and
the
stabbed
reasoning
this
would be, I
girl.
guess, that it's an animatronic. But again, if there was an actual investigation, you'd find out that it was a suit it could also be worn as a suit. And you'd go,
But I actually don't know. I don't know if the police technically know that or not.
if they
genuinely, I don't know.
investigate it, they would.
If they were to investigate it, but I don't like. I think William Afton keeps the suit with him, or it's hidden in the room that he
No,
eventually
Corbin,
dies
that's
in
not
later.
That's not the point I'm saying, though. The point I'm saying is, you'd have the kid who she pulled out of the back would be like, I followed the giant golden bunny back there. I know they say we don't have a golden bunny and all that, you could say that, but they'd be like, so you followed one of the animatronics back there. So during their investigation, they would discover that they also work as suits. They'd be Springlock suits. I'd assume. Maybe that's overestimating something. Maybe we can let that one slide. I just thought the stab wounds were way too visibly. If they just don't show the stab wounds, I think you can play off the whole accident thing way better.
Yeah. I can suspend my disbelief to be like, oh yeah, they thought she got mangled when she was in there, not visible stab wounds to dozens of people.
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
my only thing. That's the main
Mhm.
reason I didn't like the opening scene. That and the parents just cartoonishly not listening to her.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they really should have just done the original scene from
Yes, it would have
the
been better.
game because it just makes more sense.
But
and that's
then-
that's a lot of it from this movie that I'm gonna have problems with. It's like was this scene fine? Like you guys will probably hate it, but like for me, it's like yeah, I saw this scene. It's okay. It's it's fine. I like
I
it, whatever. But it's not better than the original.
I think a lot of those, Corbin, I agree, they're okay scenes, but to me, it's just them sitting there and the fact that they actually were like, yeah, let's just not adapt what we're adapting because our idea is better, and then it's just so much worse
And then
than
it's
if
just
they had
not.
just done. I don't need to watch. Now, first off, the 2 minutes in this movie convinced me that it would be a better movie. I don't need to watch an hour and a half of Josh Hutcherson sitting in a security office closing doors and checking cameras. Now, the part where we get that tie-in in this movie convinced me that would be a more entertaining movie of him actually just sitting there putting the mask on, flashing the light, whatever. Which we didn't get a light flash, but we'll get to that later. I was kind of annoyed by that. We didn't get the light pause as Foxy, or I know it was mangled, but
Yeah.
still. So after that, we don't got to go exactly scene by scene, by plot, by whatever. The next thing to me is it's like Mike Schmidt, who is Josh Hutcherson. We'll just call him Mike. We're gonna get to the other Mike later, which I got problems with. But
I also have problems with
Mike is your sister is clearly mentally ill. like
Yeah.
you gotta. It's not even like a question. She's sitting there going like, "I need to go back to my friends at the Murder Palace," and he's like, "I'm gonna keep the door unlocked, but we'll go back there sometime." it's too dismissive of the whole like your sister clearly has a mental illness thing. That really plagues a lot of this chunk of her just being like, oh, mental illness, and he's just like, oh. Now again,
Abby.
That's
it's
just
the 80s.
those kids.
Well, I guess it's 2000s. It's the early 2000s. We weren't all in on this depression stuff. Yeah, but there's a difference between like, ADHD was underdiagnosed compared to, I want to go back and talk to my friends. They're the talking giant robots.
That murder people.
Yeah, they're the giant murder robots. I want to go talk to them again at the place where I watched that guy die. Yeah, and from there we do go to the scene. Was that kid in the Minecraft movie, or did I just make that up? That smaller kid who's like, I believe in UFOs, so why not? Okay, I'll tell you why I think that was. He just looks like the girl in the Minecraft movie.
Really?
Yes, that was, and I was like, so that's the only reason I made that connection. But yeah, he looks exactly like her. That kid's weird and doesn't end up actually serving a purpose to the plot. Which doesn't, it's like they were setting something up there and then they just didn't.
I think he's supposed to, like,
his whole thing was that he told her, he was like, why don't you just go fix them? That was what he added to the plot.
Yeah, why don't you go fix them? And, and maybe he's like, because I think it was supposed to be like Abby's like mentally fixed, which she definitely isn't because she got a mental illness. We've been talking about that. But like maybe that's her first friend.
That was the goal, but it was
just
just
an
weird.
underlying theme in these movies. Is she's trying to find friends, and making friends is hard, which it's not. But like,
I'm just gonna
maybe that's why he's there. But
I think you're right. I think it was like this is the first friendship. I just thought it was so random. He was in like 2 scenes and he served no purpose. It was like they just needed someone for her to do exposition to, and so they thought of this kid. So she goes to the school. She's 10 or 11. I don't remember what age.
I think she's 11.
Yeah. She goes to school. They're building robots at 11. Maybe, sure. And then
in like a small town middle school.
and the teacher, who is the freaking guy from Jurassic Park, is again cartoonishly a dick and cartoonishly obsessed with this science fair project. And it's not even, they could have justified a little better by being like, the school gets a big grant for this for our science program. But it was like, we got to win first prize for the 3rd year in a row. And I was like, I was like, okay, that's a little weird. But
small town middle school science fair.
There's bad teachers out there, but usually they're not quite. That was a little over the top. There's a reason why they did that.
It's like, I wonder what's going to happen to this guy in the movie.
Yeah.
There's a reason why they did that. It's because they don't want you to feel bad when Abby gets him killed. Because that's what happened.
Megan Fox kills him. Sorry. Continue.
Yeah. But I was always just like, this is weird. And then after he gets murdered later in the movie, I was like, oh, they just don't want you to feel bad when he's murdered. Because he is, outside of the 3 people we don't see, the 3 people we don't see, and Charlie, and then the teacher guy are the only people we actually see killed. Am I wrong with that?
Wait. Run that back. So the only people that are killed
are the murder, the freaking Scooby-Doo ripoff people. The teacher
rip-offs.
and Charlie.
Yeah. And Charlie.
Does anyone else die?
Yeah.
They don't, right?
I don't think so. I'm trying to remember. I don't.
Not
think
on screen, at least.
I don't think any of the animatronics killed them whenever they went out to people's houses. Whenever she was going to. I don't. Yeah. No. I don't think so. I know Balloon Boy gets slimed. If you
that was funny.
Count that as a death.
But
that was fire.
But yeah.
Deserved,
so there's 4 characters deaths. The first one is supposed to be like, oh my gosh, I feel so bad for her, and I kind of do, but I also, it's a child actor. I'm not gonna sit here and be like, that kid can't act. It's a low budget movie with child actors. So I'm not gonna overly be harsh on that. I thought out of the 2 children actors who were in this movie, she was the better. 2 main children actors, she was the better one. And I think overall there was just it was just a weird way it was written. with her going up and talking to each parent. And I was like, okay, this feels weird. But so you feel bad for her, and I know people do, and it's like, you feel sorry for her or whatever. I just didn't, because I thought the whole thing was stupid. But if you were just passively watching, you'd be like, oh, I feel so bad for her because they all could have listened to her, and then none of this would have happened, type thing. And then there's, so that you're supposed to feel bad about. There's the 3 random let's have a fun murder scene. That was probably my only positive scenes in the movie, come in that little montage section. And then you have, we want to do a cool harsh kill, but we don't want everyone to feel bad about it. So, or because Abby accidentally causes it, so we need to make the guy really mean so that everyone just forgets it happened, and they only would just be like, remember when he crushed his head? And you don't think too much deeper about it.
Yeah,
so that
you're
was
not like, oh, that innocent guy just got murdered.
because he really wanted to win first place in a science fair project for middle schoolers.
His greed.
You keep saying
sickens
middle
me.
schoolers. This is like elementary schoolers.
Yeah, this is like.
I'd have to
Well,
think how old
it's
you would be.
Yeah, it's like
7 years. You're a senior when you're it's
fourth
fifth
or
grade.
fifth grade.
Fifth grade would be the oldest. 4th or 5th grade. So elementary
4th, 5th grade.
in most places. It's,
elementary, intermediate.
middle school. It's that general age group. But yeah, so
Jake and I were still sniffing crayons, bro. We were
Yeah.
not.
yeah,
we were
science.
we were
bro,
playing
science
euchre at lunch. Like
Science in 5th grade. What was the craziest science experiment you did in 5th grade? You didn't really do much. It was like
there's like the one where you have the ring and the ball, and you heat the ball and cool
you
the
heat the
ring,
ball
and then
up
it
and you,
doesn't
like-
fit, and then you cool the ball and you heat the ring and it fits, and it's like
and it fits. Genuinely
That
blew
was
my
it.
mind, by the way.
we weren't allowed
I-
to
I
have
remember
lighters,
that.
I think, when I was in 4th and 5th grade.
No.
So that wasn't until 7th grade where we did anything that was remotely complicated. And they're out here
Yeah.
building robots and soldering and doing programming and coding and stuff. Which,
and then he's like mad at her that she
But-
doesn't
but-
have
but
like
I
a
will say-
fully complete robot.
but I will say, in this universe, technically, robotics have come a lot further. So
Bro,
maybe it's
that's
that's an area,
I-
area where I'd be like, the internal consistency isn't broken by this, because in this world, technically, animatronic robot things have advanced far past.
The
where we
reason
would have
I
been in the
don't
2000s.
believe it though is because the animatronics are like such a marvel, and they're like such a
That is
like
true.
the animatronics are such a big deal that outside robotics hasn't actually progressed
Also true.
further than normal.
Also true, and also this is a school in the 2000s. I don't know where they're getting this budget to have just thrown it, but this isn't a writing thing.
because
in the
they
movie.
keep
This is just
winning.
weird.
They keep
This
winning.
is-
the championship,
That's true. They,
so.
they
Yeah,
keep
but-
dominating that.
They getting that chip money.
They got that snowball effect.
But yeah, look, this was just like every school scene felt to me just like it was there to exposit and to have. We need somehow to tie this in, so I don't know, make it up. This,
or we need a reason for Abby to do this or go to this place or
yeah, Abby and Vanessa really hurt this movie by existing.
I do agree. They just didn't do anything.
They kind of hurt the, and this is where I'm like, I kind of make this realization a little later when I was watching it of, it's like, because I was always kind of on you can't really follow the game story. And then I was like halfway through this movie, I was like, you can follow the game story. Because I'm already thinking through in my head, and it's far more compelling than what's happening in this movie. And I, like, the first movie, from what I remember, it was a little better, where it was like, he wants to go to Freddy's. Yeah, it was better. He wants to go to Freddy's because he wants to remember what happened with his brother. He dreams that he's trying to find the connection, but he also has to watch his little sister, so he brings her. So he has to bring her, and then she forms a connection with those animatronics. Whereas this one was like, Vanessa kind of has a connection to them, sort of type thing, but she doesn't really use it, and they go back to Abby having the connection, and that was all weird to me. But from there, what would you say the next big moment is? What, she comes home, the 10-year-old knows how to tie a tie, and somehow he doesn't, which I guess that's nitpicking.
I think that was
is a
supposed to
nitpick.
like it's
That's
supposed to
beyond nitpick.
emphasize that like Abby is super smart.
That is a nitpick. I will say that, to me, I was just like, that's weird. That feels like they were writing this as if she was a 15-year-old child and not a 10-year-old.
It's like just the movie trying to make her like super smart and stuff.
that is a full nitpick. I will freely admit that's a nitpick. I just thought that scene. I was like, this is strange. What's happening? They're like, oh, we're not dating, but we're dating for Mike and Vanessa. Vanessa's having flashbacks, and so Mike and Vanessa basically have a date. That's what's happening here. We get
This is nitpicky, but during the whole Vanessa biking flashback thing, there was a lot of. Wait, what?
We're not there yet, though. We're
Is that not what you were talking about?
No, we're going.
Oh, at the
progressively
restaurant, right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll get there, but we're gonna connect through some stuff. But yeah, so just we get the random introduction of Mike's house painter friend, this big fat black guy who Mike knows, and he's like, we're here to paint the house, bro.
So we're painting up the house.
Yeah, we are. We painting the house.
We painting the house.
I was just like, all right.
Why is he here?
So because it's a horror movie and there's the joke, and it's like, so is he gonna die first? Because that's the stereotypical trope that they used to do. But then I was also like, he's probably not gonna die because that now it's overcorrected and you can't kill black people in horror movies. So I'm sitting here, I'm like, what's happening with this guy? Because
it actually is the opposite, but we'll get
this
there.
guy came out of nowhere. I'm like, what is going on? Why is he now just in this? And then that was it for him until the luckiest moment of all time at the end of the movie. And then a double extra scene on top of it.
So you're like, wait, why is he here? Because he needs to be.
Yeah. And we are the other Cavaliers.
Yeah, that was literally, we're the other characters.
Bro, it was just so funny. Like, it was really like, oh no, Vanessa has this problem. What's she gonna do? How are they gonna work around this since she can't get there in time? Never mind, she can.
So they go on their date and they converse like two people who've never seen each other before ever in their life. I was mad disappointed. The chick who plays Vanessa, I'm getting no energy from her, bro. Like there is no, I'm getting nothing. There's no acting happening. Like there's some crying that's later in the spin scene, the spin class scene. Everything else though is like,
it's very flat.
Like, yeah, it's like I'm watching Abby who can't act, but I give Abby the pass because she's a child. I looked at her filmography. She's been in You, which is like the only big name thing I recognize.
I've seen that show, and it's about the same in the show. It's like it's either all or not. She's either going like all out for like an emotional scene where she's like crying and stuff.
So she's an actress who
or it's
learned
literally
how to do
nothing.
the like cry on command, and that was her big trick on the audition.
Yep.
And I don't feel bad about insulting actresses. Actors and actresses make money to pretend to be people. So if you can't pretend well, then I don't know how you're doing that job. If I can't do my job well, then I don't get paid. And at the end of the day, all these people, they are low. Like Josh Hutcherson's the big name in acting, and the guy who plays William Afton, whose name escapes me. Everyone else is like low budget.
Matthew Lillard.
Oh, Matthew Lillard.
Yeah.
They're both
Everyone
good
else,
actors, and they're both enjoyable people. Who?
Yeah, but everyone else is like
Ulrich.
Who does he play?
Ulrich. He plays Henry Emily, but he also was with Matthew Lillard in Scream.
But he doesn't. He's in this movie. He doesn't do any acting in this movie. So, not his. He's in one scene. But like the point I'm making here is like, I'm not. I mean, there's a reason why all these people are like, clearly, not that top tier actor. It's budget saving. It's but there's no chemistry happening between Vanessa and Mike in this date scene, at all.
And not even like awkward chemistry because they've been through a lot. It's literally just like they've never met each other before.
It was weird.
Yeah.
It just wasn't how people who have met other people.
Especially people who have like been through a traumatic experience together would interact.
I just found it weird. I'm trying to get a little faster maybe. The last thing was Abby turns on the TV and is watching Spooky Hunters or whatever they were called. Which, popular show, sure. She watches Spooky Hunters. And then he's like, then there was just a line that I was like, bro, are you serious? Where he says, don't watch too much of that show, you'll get nightmares. I'm like,
she didn't watch a guy die and then be
yeah,
like, I want to go back there. I want to go back there.
A lot of this movie, like, spends time forgetting the first movie happened, but, like, also remembering the first movie happened.
It's like you have to have the first movie, but you also have to ignore it.
I feel like they cherry picked some parts of the movies to go back off of, because I think like I said earlier, the first movie is like, I don't know if they thought it was gonna succeed or not. I feel like they try to just make like like a very like straightforward movie without like things they gotta tie in later. But then like now they're like, all right, so if we undo this and if we forget this happens, and we can take this part and we can go off of it in this movie.
Yeah,
which happens a few times throughout the movie. Wasn't my favorite, but I was willing to look past some
They
of it.
definitely did not think that first movie was going to succeed, because that first movie was a basic story filled with references, So and it had an ending that was complete. So
Yeah.
and it was an ending that if you try to do any more and try to do what they do in this movie, it just the whole first movie starts to feel weird. So yeah, that was just a line. I was like, dude, really? She's gonna get nightmares from that, not the death of the guy who was sitting there after he tried to murder her. That's where she's
watching it in the first movie.
The spooky spectral stories.
No, was she watching? Did she watch?
I don't remember. I haven't seen the first movie in a while, but the whole I'm assuming she was there. I don't remember exactly.
She was in.
I think she
was in the building, but I don't know. I don't know if she watched it or not. But
either way, she was in a haunted
right.
building. I don't think the show is gonna give her nightmares.
Right.
And I know that was just a passing line, but it was also like he wasn't joking. He was fully serious when he said it. So I was sitting there. I'm like, bro, really? Like, are we serious? Like, that's where the nightmares are gonna come in. We learned that the lie. I forgot at this point. We learned the lie that Mike is telling her is, "I'll go back and fix them at some point." It's like, sure, maybe he thought of that real quick. So I won't sit here and complain about that, I guess. But it's also like, to a point, why wouldn't he just be like, can't go back to the murder house. That's where people get murdered.
Right.
And my friends are there. Those are robots. Those are murder robots who murder people.
On that, I just felt like it was more like she's young. She obviously
yes, but when you're a child,
she has a mental illness.
But when you're a child, your parent or guardian, what they say is like law for the Now you might revolt against it to an extent. And maybe at 4th and 5th grade, she's that revolting against it. Maybe. But I also feel like she acts young enough that it'd be like what Mike says is the rule, especially after I almost died that one time a year or two ago.
Because I didn't listen to Mike.
Yeah, because I wasn't careful. So they say Vanessa took a spin class. That was the only time I felt like, hey, these people have had a conversation before. When they talked about her, that she joined a spin class, I was like, oh my gosh, they're talking. Like,
he knows a fact about her.
Yes, they've spoken since the events of the last movie.
Yeah. The other thing I think, I thought the conversation was I think you guys found it way more awkward than I did, but it was awkward. I'm not saying that.
It was weird. But it was just weird.
The reason I thought it was weird though was different because they were communicating like they'd never met each other. Obviously, Vanessa had been to Mike's house numerous times because first of all, she just walks into the house.
Yeah.
And she just goes and visits Abby, and she, Abby hides behind the door whenever Vanessa goes to go see her, which we see later.
Yeah,
later
she's right at home in the house.
Yeah, she's very right at home in the house. Whenever they had the conversation, whenever I didn't feel like it was as awkward,
I'm not even saying the dialogue was
reasons.
Extremely awkward. It's literally just I'm not getting any chemistry between these two actors.
That's fair.
That was the main thing I had. It could have been the same writing, and if there was more chemistry between them,
yeah, it's like it could be an awkward scene because it's like they've just been really good friends, and she's also been around helping with Abby, and then this is like a date, and so it could be awkward.
I just wasn't getting any chemistry. Yeah, that was the only.
But they should have a rapport as friends, and then this could be disrupting that, and it's awkward because this is kind of a date.
When Mike said, this is a date type thing, that then it could get awkward. But my only problem again is just I was getting no chemistry from them here.
Yeah, it would make more sense if they totally just they talk about their issues, which eventually advances the story. But if they also kind of hit it off a little bit after that or something like that.
Yeah, if they just talk like friends,
would have made the ending
also
feel way more oh no, because there was actual chemistry there, which we'll get to. That ending.
Because this is important. Before he leaves on this date, the mentally ill child who he's taking care of actively is like, hey, I'm going to go fix my friends, or we should go back and fix my friends. He's like, you can't. Anyway, I'm going to leave this door open and unlocked, and I'm going to leave you here. Bye, have fun. and then she left to go fix her friends. Could you imagine that? So he walks home. There was a sign on the door. He reads the sign. So he knows she went back to Freddy's. He drives to Freddy's. Oh wait, I guess before that we do get the best sequence in the movie, in my opinion, where Ripoff Mystery Machine pulls up, and the then the characters get out. It's 3 people. They're filming a YouTube show before YouTube, and they get out there. They go, and then the only jump scare that actually scared me was when they cut the camera and the new Mike is there. So they're trying to make you. They say, "Oh, the security guard Michael let us in," obviously to make you go like, "Hold on, I knew a security guard Mike at a Five Nights at Freddy's location." So it's like, is this a flashback? Is he still working for them? Is he, what's going on here? And then they cut, and it's like, new guy is Mike. And so immediately I'm like, oh, okay, so this is Mike Afton, which they do not actually confirm at this moment. And I was like, they just had another guy named Mike?
Like, well, and they just had him be like, I'm Michael. That was it.
I know.
Michael what?
Yeah, I was
Michael,
immediately like,
huh?
I was like, it's Mike Afton. And then he didn't have any other involvement in what was happening. And I was like, no. First off, they should have just named him Jeremy Fitzgerald if he was going to be just a normal security guard again. Since they did Mike Schmidt the first time, may as well just keep the name of like what the name on the check was when like in the game. So Jeremy Fitzgerald for that or whatever. Now it turns out
at
later.
This point, they've already messed it up. So
It turns out later though that in fact it was Mike Afton, and that's a whole other thing that I have massive problems with. And
it's my biggest problem with this movie.
But they go into the old Freddy's, and they they're like filming and all this other stuff, and you hear the music box playing, and that was like all reference, oh, she can't turn that off or she's gonna die. And this isn't even an example of like the character's stupid and they die. That was like actually pretty good. The first one, I don't know. How does the first guy die? Not the one that falls in the water, because that.
Oh, bro, he gets munched by a mango, bro. That scene
okay.
was fire.
I was fine with that one. I thought it was a little weird that they didn't go after other Mike. But whatever.
I thought it was like sort of. I thought it felt like he was like luring them there for.
I did too, but like
it felt like he was like teamed up with them.
But
like,
then they tried to kill him.
No, they didn't.
That's why he ran away.
Oh yeah, the Yeah. No. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. The puppet.
But then they're chill again at the end of the movie. It's like he's on the side of the animatronics, except for in that scene.
Actually, hold on. I think I know what's happening. So I think because they have like that wireless control or whatever. So I think he is controlling them. He's connected to them somehow, and that's why they show up after the puppet's been quote unquote killed or whatever you want to say at the end of or put back to sleep at the end of the movie. That's why the toy animatronics are still able to work for a second. So when he shows up, that we'll say that. So that I think there's enough evidence there that you can infer that he has connection to the toy animatronics, but the puppet he doesn't, and that's why he ran away when the puppet shows up.
Yeah.
I thought so. The first guy falls in the water. I looked away. I don't know how he fell in. Was there anything clever? Or did he just literally fall in?
No, he
like saw something.
He saw Balloon Boy. Well, he either saw Balloon Boy and got scared.
Balloon Boy, I didn't think shows up until Mike falls in the water.
Or he sees
he saw the puppets. He saw them, but he didn't get scared and fall in the water. He was like, "Oh, that's scary," and then he kept walking, and then he fell in. But
he may have just like slipped and fell in. I actually don't remember.
Which I didn't have a problem with.
Something, though.
I didn't have a problem with it until Mike then proceeds to also slip and fall into the river. And it's like, all right, bro. People don't just now outside
People
of that.
Can,
I
walk normally near a body of water.
The scene where the mini marionettes show up and freaking piranha devour him was sick. I liked that.
Yeah, that was fire.
I thought that was a cool scene. And like I said, this is probably the only part that I actually got a jump scare out of me when they just cut to the new Mike's face with the camera. I was like, what the hell? That was the only, I think, jump scare that actually worked on me in this movie. And then new blonde chick who isn't Vanessa gets possessed by the puppet. And bro, this is when I said earlier of like, to me, this was like studio producer changing something because they thought their idea was cooler. Because they thought it was scarier if it was a humanoid who looks like the puppet instead of the puppet being there. So they have the puppet possess the human. And I was like, dude, why?
But it like defeats the purpose of Charlotte being in the puppet if
I just thought that was
if she's
stupid.
not in the puppet.
Like, bro, the puppet is one of the scarier things in FNAF. You don't need to you don't need to try to make it scarier by being like, look, now it looks like a killer clown person and it's a normal human, but they look like the puppet with the face.
Yeah.
Now they got a nose.
It just didn't make sense.
I just thought it was super.
Because
It's
then
such
it's
a
like
random change.
it's like Charlotte's not even the puppet; she's just Charlotte, and she looks freaky. Like
yeah, it was such a
she
random.
isn't
change.
the puppet.
Her soul is in the puppet, and then
But
her
it's
soul in the
not.
puppet takes over the body. I did think the part was weird. I
just thought it was
cool,
weird that they were like,
but it just like I thought it was cool the way they like had the face on each person. Like I actually decently liked it, but it just doesn't make a ton of sense.
Yeah, because like just think about the context. So now,
Because it's just Charlotte possessing them.
Hold on, no. Because it's Charlotte's soul possessing the puppet, which then possesses the body. So there's like this is like Inception possession here.
It's like a grande Americano.
Sure, bro. There is a puppet that is possessed
YouTube
by a
Shorts is that
different
way, bro.
soul. There's a puppet possessed by a different soul that now possesses a person.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like that was weird, and to me that just screamed like that was like a studio note, like an executive saw that and they were like they read the original script or everything. Like, wouldn't it be scarier though if it was like their face had the paint on it and the tears? Wouldn't that be scarier?
Yeah, no, the puppet itself is scarier just because the puppet almost looks human, but
and
it's
like
not.
the arms are weird, like it's and they kind of
It's like a weird, gangly. Like,
I just thought it was so
puppet.
weird that
like,
they were like, look, now it has hair in the face, and I was like, dude, just do the puppet.
Yeah, just
that's like
fair.
just do the marionette. It just looks scary, and it's better FNAF reference. Like, it's better connection with FNAF. It's just the marionette. And then Mike, who doesn't reveal his last name at this point, runs away, and then I was like,
Michael.
I was like,
it's
so
Michael.
I was like, so it wasn't Michael Afton? Because I was kind of just like myself. I was like, probably would have been a better movie if this happened. Myself assuming of like, okay, that was like a weird. Maybe it's implied, and maybe, honestly, what I think I'll save this thought for the end of the movie. I do think it would have been better if we didn't see him again. But I'll save my thoughts for kind of a summary here. So after that, there's nothing I'm too weirded out about. So Mike Schmidt goes to FNAF 1 movie location, and he sees Abby there. And then she's like, I'm sad, my friends are gone. And he's like,
I'm sorry I didn't tell you.
Yeah. And then, he goes like, I'll get you something from the prize counter. And this is the main part where I was like, dude, your sister has a mental illness. And this is kind of a real world thing that's happening that's similar to this. That's funny. Of like, she is mentally ill, mourning the loss of these friends that she thinks she had that were puppets. I'm gonna buy her this toy that lets her talk to the voices of it, so it's like she's talking to her friends.
Dude, and then when Vanessa is like, "Yo, she said she talked to them."
Hold on. Yeah, but later. But that's in a second because there's a couple other things with that I want to get to. So yeah, and then like I just like yeah, that's the first step when someone's in mourning is to give them an immediate response to everything that's in the voice. Because I saw there was this thing of like an AI where you could take a 3-minute video of like a relative or something, and then when they die, the AI will like create an avatar of them. And it was like, your grandma can always be there for your best moments. So it was like the person in the commercial got like pregnant, and it was like the grandma got to see them pregnant. It's like, this is what I did when your mom was a baby or whatever. And it's like, what in the world? That's real life I'm talking about here. That's not even like movie happening. And I'm like, it's just like, yeah, that's
like
just
the most horrifying.
Yeah, how to just completely screw up mourning at any point, So yeah, just not exactly great guidance counseling there from Mike. Maybe he's
Yeah.
just an idiot. We'll say that.
Well,
And
Mike isn't. Well, he's trying to take care of Abby, but he's like doing a better job in this one, but he's still not great.
he's doing a way
It's-
worse job in this one. In the first one, he didn't leave her unattended. That's why he brought her to his job. In this one, he just like she's like clearly spazzing out mentally, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm just gonna leave you home alone."
No babysitter.
yeah. Like,
Could painter guy not?
what
Was
does he do all
painter guy
day?
busy?
He's painting during the day. He doesn't have a job.
Yeah. And it wasn't a Saturday.
But Vanessa doesn't have a job, and clearly likes Abby.
Well, they were on the date,
I know, but I'm just saying in general, because it
In
happens
general-
a couple times where he's just like, it's just like.
and she's at the house. She's obviously at the house all the time anyway. So like,
Either way, okay.
Vanessa should be
but that's a
watching
good
her
point.
all
She is
the
at the date. She is on the date, but still.
painter guy,
I don't know.
unemployed.
Is his aunt? Hold on. This is just more of a question. Is his aunt in the first movie, Corbin?
Yes.
Because I don't remember her at all, and they just kept mentioning your aunt brought back all the Freddy stuff.
You don't. You don't.
I do not remember her.
So no, so the aunt, part of it was like, he had to go get a job because the aunt was gonna take custody and take him to court if he didn't get a stable job to take care of Abby. And so you get the aunt. The aunt is one of the main
Oh yeah. And does she go insane?
antagonists.
Does she go insane at the end of the movie, and that's why he's like, oh, she snapped and brought back all the Freddy stuff because Freddy is there in the house. Is that what happened?
Oh yeah. Well, wait. Yes. I actually haven't thought about this. I forgot she dies in the movie, or gets knocked out.
Oh yeah.
Because she's
either
just
way, either way.
sleeping.
Point is, that was just more of a side question, but yeah. So after that, nothing much happens until the Faz talker starts talking to, what's her face, Abby,
Abby.
and tells her like, you gotta come this way. Gets
Abby.
on the bike, rolls out again. Mike, you gotta lock your door, dude. Especially when you have the mentally ill child who wants to go visit Murder House.
Well, I mean, she can just unlock the door from the
yeah,
inside.
but still, he didn't lock it though.
Yeah, but she could just unlock the door. I mean,
But-
obviously she's smart enough to build a robot.
I'm aware, but she didn't. It's unlocked. I'm just saying, you may as well take the basic step, dude.
He could have
Remember
at
the
least
mur-
tried. If
Yeah,
that's what he's
yeah,
trying to
the-
say. He
the
could've-
murder
he
guy
could've
tried to-
lock
That
the
murder
door.
guy tried to kill you like a year or two ago, maybe lock the door. And yes, obviously she could just unlock a deadbolt. I'm just saying, like, he didn't even bother making an attempt. So she bikes down to the new Freddy's location. That's the old
The-
Freddy's location. And and she goes in, and then it's like, oh my gosh, she's gonna get the murder. Do we get the Vanessa spin class scene here, or is that after she comes back home, or comes back to
It's-
confront?
It's
It's around here.
It's
It has to be here
It's
because after she confronts Mike, she goes directly to Freddy's, doesn't she? Either way, we can talk about it here. I don't,
Yeah, the spin class scene.
You take this. I'm gonna have to go take a piss real quick. So
Like her having a like PTSD episode, I thought was fine. The premise of the scene, I didn't have a problem with. Like I thought it was fine. And it sort of kind of pushes forward what Vanessa's arc is supposed to be in the movie, which isn't really a great arc, but whatever. But there was a lot, and I mean a lot of continuity errors in like the short couple 2-3 minute scene of her freaking out at the spin class. Like she had the full on panic attack, drenched in sweat, going super hard on the bike, and then she gets off the bike and she's just like completely dry and normal and not panicking, or like still panic, but like she's like not sweaty at all. And then there were other continuity errors like that in the scene that I was just like, okay, dude, you could get a spray bottle and make her face wet. Like,
Yeah, that is pretty real.
Are you pulling up your own channel?
Yeah, my one video finally downloaded since Caleb was talking and you were yapping about something random. I was just
I
gonna
was
change it real
talking.
quick. I mean, sorry, Jake was talking. So, yeah,
Yeah, no,
Well,
I was just
wasn't
making
here.
I was just making like a good point. He was just completely ignoring me and not talking.
no. I mean, you were still talking. I was listening to you. See, look. But the I didn't notice the continuity.
It was
error
just
where
so
was
What
like,
glaring.
was the continuity issue?
Okay, so she was on the bike, drenched in sweat, having a panic attack, and then she walks to the locker room one shot later, and she's completely dry. You can get a spray bottle and go. Ch-ch-ch.
Yeah, fair.
I feel like
Fair.
that's not even nitpicky because that's just like a glare. It's literally one shot to the
I mean,
next
it is
shot.
nitpicky, but it is an easy fix that you should make. But yeah, okay. Anyway, I didn't hate all of that spin class scene.
I didn't hate it. I thought
some
the
of it
premise was
okay.
good. There was just a lot of
I
continuity.
thought it was a little weird as to why they were in a spin class, instead of like a nightmare or something. I don't know. I thought that was that movie just so she could pull the gun on the guy, but then that didn't ever come into anything
Yeah,
else.
that led to literally nothing.
Anyway, I thought her like hiding from him was kind of cool. The circus baby reveal, it was like, oh, circus baby, wow. And then that was immediately like, this is stupid because she's alive, so circus baby shouldn't work. Which
You
I know,
can't use
Corbin,
circus baby.
I'm sure
if
you
she's
have.
not in circus baby.
I'm sure you got issues
I
with
can.
that.
With what?
With the circus baby thing.
It's like, look at the circus baby suit.
Wow.
She's not in it.
While the child who circus baby is supposed to be possessed by doesn't die as a child.
Vanessa isn't Elizabeth. They're different.
She is in this movie.
No.
Yes, William Afton has a daughter and a son in this movie, and Vanessa Afton now because of whatever reason.
Okay, so
They show her as a little girl, and Circus Baby is right there. If that isn't a direct,
And it wasn't going, oh, look, that's my dead sister now. It's like, that's going to be me.
that's the clear connection of little girl, Afton's daughter, Circus Baby here.
That's
But
fair.
what's your
So-
read on that was
so-
my read on it. What's yours?
So this is the
Because it doesn't
read.
explicitly say.
This is my read of trying to connect the lore along with the movie. This is me saying that hopefully the writers are competent enough to look at the entire story, which they probably aren't. So Vanessa in the actual games comes in security breach. So that was my first problem with the movies. Why is she in the first movie? Doesn't make any sense to me. It never will make any sense.
Female character.
I guess so. But if you're gonna put her in this movie,
They don't, but
yeah.
politics.
So, but so technically, she's supposed to come in security breach. In security breach, the only reason she's there is because she gets, I forget if it's brainwashed or
glitch.
something.
She gets her mind basically controlled by
mind
the
warped.
glitch. Bunny.
Yes.
Mask.
And she is supposed to replace Elizabeth because I go off Matt Pat's storyline because
That's a theory, yes, but
this is all a theory, but that's all this entire universe is. There's not there are canon things, but there's not an actual set storyline. Matt Patch just makes the most sense to me. So
well, he just has the most easy available to find timeline.
easy available to find, and the one that just seems the most.
And he can
coherent.
but that's because he can justify it. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying
Yeah,
I know
I know.
why, because I feel the same. It's like when I hear someone else say it, I'm like, that's not right, but it's just because I started with the Matt Pat one. He justifies it enough that I'm like, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, his justifications are good. So Elizabeth is created. She's a real person, warped mind. She's created by Clara Afton, who is of course William Afton's wife, in security breach, and she is trying to recreate her family. And in theory, Vanessa supposedly reminds her of Elizabeth. So that's why Vanessa's a thing. And that's why Vanessa is kind of William Afton's daughter, but they just made her straight up his daughter in the movies, which is weird. Which it connects because they are because she's trying to replace Elizabeth with Vanessa, but of course they went 6 games too early into the first FNAF, which the first FNAF movie does take place after Sister Location. not
Yeah.
before security breach, obviously, but it
Yes.
does take place.
But again,
After-
like I was just saying, like
So-
I was like, you like you
Elizabeth
can't have
would
your
already
cake
be
and eat
dead.
it too. Yes,
Yeah,
but Vanessa was there as a child. You know, Michael
Right,
Afton,
which
who was
is-
later revealed, grew up with her. She was there with Charlie. So
exactly.
to
Which
me,
is a problem.
now I do want to pause this, right? You know, whereas that is like I'm writing this script here for the movie. Me looking at this is the script the movie gives me of, and based on how they've adapted the rest of the game lore, it's like this is just gonna be Elizabeth, is Vanessa. Otherwise, you're just showing Circus Baby there with child Vanessa because why not? Whereas it's like,
yeah,
you know, that's my take on it. You know, is that wrong? Who cares? The point I'm making is that's the immediate jump I'm making on it. And I was like, all right, dude, like, you know what? Like,
yeah. I don't know.
Um,
It's just like if you're just trying to connect it to the story, it just doesn't flow that well. It's yeah. Literally, if Vanessa wasn't in the first movie, it would get rid of a giant crinkle at the
I'll
moment.
get there. I'm gonna ask for like a kind of overall finishing thoughts when we're done, and I've got some things that they don't fit anywhere, so I'm kind of gonna throw them all together at the end. But you know, we get that. Then we get probably my biggest this movie stupid moment I had. Well, the ending scene was a pretty big this movie stupid moment. But this movie's stupidly written, like this movie's written to be stupid. Was in this moment where Vanessa shows up back at Mike's house, and there's the whole sneak, and it's like, oh, but she's not gonna find Abby because she's there. But then I was like, wait, why is the Faz talker there? And then it's revealed Abby is there. First real hide and seek. Check behind the door. That'll come back later. And so she walks in, and then you know she's like drew these locations that Vanessa knows about, and is like, I was literally there. And then
It's
Vanessa
like, I
walks
just spoke
out
to them in reality, and they helped me make
and
this.
she's like, Mike, we need to talk. Talks with Mike. Mike's like blows her off a little bit, and then
bro,
she
that's just
doesn't
how
ever
kids
say.
are.
She doesn't ever say. No, she went to the other Freddy's.
No, she did. She did.
No, she didn't.
Yes, she did. She said
Did she?
she talked to them.
That's what she said, but she never literally goes, no, there's another Freddy. She went there.
Yeah, no, she didn't say
Which
that.
is my bigger, because Mike
She
says,
didn't lead off
I'm-
with it.
Mike said, I can fix this. I'm trying to fix you. And then she gets all offended. And then she storms off and is like, figure it out yourself then, Mike. And like leaves. And it's like, now I don't doubt that if it was just in this circumstance, a dude and a woman get pretty offended by a guy saying that and storm off and leave and then let someone die because of it. But she cares about Abby.
Yeah.
And her getting offended and storming off at Mike actively pushes Abby closer to her death. Because if he goes, no, so basically what I'm trying to say is there's another Freddy's location, because Mike like blows up on her. He's like, we're trying to move on, but you just keep talking about this, that, and the other thing. And she's like, yeah, that's cool, but there's
'Cause
literally
it's
another
happening
location, and
right
she went
now.
there. She doesn't ever say that. She like dances around it, which would allow Mike to be like, actually, like, you know, no, you're just trying to keep dragging this stuff back, and we're trying to move on, which is what he says. She never explicitly is like, no. She literally is hanging out with more murder robots. And then that becomes a plot point later where he's like, I can't trust you. And I'm like, well, in fairness, you can't, because she was like actively rooting for your sister to get murdered because she didn't tell you about this. But, you know, and then we get the next super weird decision where she goes to the new old Freddy's location. And she's like, you're trapped in here because I have the perimeter lock. And only I know the password. Why did you go there? Lock the door from the outside so Abby can't get in. And then guess what? Everyone from the outside's trapped out. And they're trapped in because of this perimeter lock, which is like, what? First off, in general, what is that? But, you know,
Why can't they just type it in?
it exists and they don't know the password. So I'm like, so it's literally I'm just there and I'm like, why would you go? There's zero reason for you to be there if they can't get out. Just make it so no one can get in.
Yeah.
And I don't understand why they needed Abby.
They needed her to.
Why?
They needed her for
So
leverage.
basically, I'm assuming the obvious. I think the adjustment is Vanessa would sacrifice herself for allowing before she allows them to get out. Whereas,
Yes,
she wouldn't sacrifice Abby.
Yeah.
That's the reason.
They use Abby as leverage.
Abby's leverage.
Yeah.
So that's just the kid that they know they can convince to come and also has a connection with Vanessa who knows the password.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's why they need Abby. But it's like, she has zero reason to go there. Just lock it so Abby can't get back in. Maybe tell Mike next time that that's where she went before you get mad and storm off on him. You know. That was the biggest series of events that happened in this movie. Some dumb stuff that happens in the movie, but that was the biggest series of events that happened in this movie where I'm like, dude.
and
what?
it's like, it's not that Vanessa, like, all she knows is that she went to a different location. She knows.
She literally knows which
She
one.
knows about Charlotte. She knows about all the other animatronics there. Like, she knows everything about the location. And she's not like, hey, there's a lot more murder robots, and there's one that can possess people.
And she didn't bring a backup music box. Which I guess maybe she didn't know she had, because obviously Henry gives that to Mike. There was that whole weird thing where Mike finds the poster of, like, Freddy's his murder. And then he, like, is like, no, I called him. And that all happened off screen, though, for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
And then, yeah, so that was just the whole series of events where I was like, this is stupid, and this movie's writing is stupid.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get the Henry. So I'll just jump straight to Mike goes to see Henry. This was weird to me.
Yeah.
I thought this was weird. So first off, the main, I'll get this out now because it kind of ties in. Seeing someone cast as Henry to me, I was like, in the opening scene, I was kind of like, oh, this is cool. We're gonna get some flashback stuff. We're gonna see about like maybe how Freddy and Will, like how Henry and Emily were partners, and like some of that, maybe some flashbacks. I think would have made a more interesting story if that was happening throughout. But we just get one scene with Henry, and then like I think he leaves a message at the end, obviously, but
Yeah.
at the post credit scene. But yeah, it's like what was there wasn't much of a point in that scene other than he gives her the music box and he's like, that's my daughter in there.
I think he was just introducing his character because he's gonna have a much bigger role in the third. Okay,
But he doesn't
he
really.
should.
He shouldn't though. I mean, like, and I'm sitting here saying like, if they're going after the games, he wouldn't. But I guess he will because they're not, and they're doing it. Like, here's my take on it. I don't want to see Henry. I don't want to hear from him. I don't want to know he exists until he drops the absolute bars from the end of FNAF 6.
Dude, okay, that's like dude, they just need to make enough money to keep the series going to get to 6, just so I can.
They're going to do.
Bro,
FNAF
they
3
need to.
FNAF 3 will be the last one.
It's
Yeah,
tragic.
dude. Yeah, I don't need to see him, bro. Just have him come in at the end and drop his hard lines, and then we'll go off. Unless we're doing flashback scenes, I don't want him there. I'm gonna be honest. Or if you're gonna put him there, give me a little more going on movie wise. You know.
Well, the thing is also he shouldn't be a character that keeps popping up. If we're being so honest, because at this point, until 6, he's nowhere to be found.
Yeah,
he's gone in I think he's gone in England. He's totally written off until.
I don't know
get
that
back
Henry
to
goes
6.
to Henry because Henry's American in the games.
I'm pretty.
No, it's the Aftons
think
who are
that-
British. It's the Aftons.
I know the Aftons are British, but
No, because listen to the FNAF 6 speech. He's American.
yeah, no,
Though
I know he's
for one
I
of
know
them.
he's I know he's American, but I don't know. I feel like England's the place he ends up going to whenever he's like trying to just get away from everything. Maybe I'm totally wrong and I misinterpreted the video. That doesn't really matter though.
Then again, I'd never heard that before, so maybe you've heard something I haven't, but I'd never.
I
Heard
don't know.
That, but
That doesn't really matter if he went to England.
that is
or not.
irrelevant. Yes.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
He like giving the music box, and you do need to show the ties with Charlie or Charlotte because it is his daughter.
I feel like there could have been so many better ways to do that, though.
Yeah, I feel like that should have been a bigger story that was told, but at least they told it.
Can
and
I-
It wasn't like what they do sometimes, where it's just like, hey,
But
and,
let's
it's just
let's
sad.
pause for a second. So he mentions, "Oh, I wasn't a better father. I could have been a better father. I wouldn't have spent enough time with her. I was too busy working." Does that opening scene not work so much better if like Charlotte sees the boy get taken and then she runs up to her dad and is like, "There's a boy in trouble," but he's like so focused on
Oh,
his work that he's not paying attention. And then
you mean like what happens with in the games? It would have made so much more sense. Yeah,
is that what
it
happens?
doesn't. I think it's what happens. It gets told in the book. That's why she's
Okay,
been
well,
shut out.
yeah, but the
But her
books
dad,
are
her
the
dad
books are
wasn't there to help her because the dad was too busy. So the dad makes the puppet
yeah,
to take care of her
yeah,
instead of
yeah.
actually taking responsibility for his child,
But yes,
which
obviously,
eventually
I'm just
leads to
saying
her death.
that makes way more sense than parents who are there literally just to watch kids and make sure they have a safe time. Going, no, go die, kid. So, which is what the opening of the movie is. Anyway, that was just a little side note that kind of just I kind of thought of just now, but like that, I feel like that would have worked a little bit better. And
Yeah.
then you also don't have to have this scene, and you could have it more likely where like let's just say Henry was watching Mike and just sends him a music box. Then it's a little like what's going on there. He's a little omnipotent, but it's like he knows what's going on. He's been a passive observer kind of thing. I feel like that could have
Yeah.
been a little bit better. Maybe it would have been worse. Who knows? I'm not a writer, but clearly these people are about as qualified as I am. So, is there anything else really big up until now that they captured Vanessa and now they're going to get Abby to put the code in? Is there anything else that happens?
Mm,
Not until
no,
Mike.
I mean you see the original girl dead, so I guess after you get, which that's another problem I had, which you see. So after the Marion, well, the puppet, sorry,
Well,
goes out
marionette
of,
is also what it is.
yeah, but yeah, I'm not getting into that. But after the puppet leaves, like reporter girl, Velma cop off. Um, After she leaves the body, that girl is dead, and you see her kind of like corrupted. Um, I don't know why she dies, but Abby doesn't. If Abby was also taken over by the puppet, so I don't know how she died,
don't
and they
think about
just didn't show it.
Don't think about that.
I thought that was kind of weird.
Don't think about that.
Okay,
Stop thinking.
yeah.
Stop thinking. Look,
Say-
reference. Oh,
How about
reference.
think about
Hey,
it?
reference. Hey,
My-
look, Shadow Bonnie, Shadow Bonnie, Shadow Bonnie. Stop thinking about that, Shadow Bonnie.
You were starting to think critical, bro.
Hey, no, that was so far.
I thought that was a fun. That's like what I was been
tough.
okay with of like a fun reference. Like, oh look, Shadow Bonnie, that was cool. Yeah. So Vanessa gets taken because she went to a place she wasn't, and then they're like, "We're gonna kill the crap out of Abby if you don't tell us the code." So obviously she tells them the code. I don't think she would have made this decision because it would have been a hard decision to make. So I'm not actually gonna say this is terrible writing because this is what would have happened. I'm just saying the logical thing to do here is let them kill Abby. I'm gonna be honest. Like, I understand. I don't actually know that even would be the decision that gets made. I especially don't really think Vanessa in real life would make that decision. But I'm just saying, like, if you're just looking at it objectively, the right thing to do would be let them murder. It's kind of like
Especially
because
like
but with,
slightly
like,
later,
a million people.
slightly later, they're like, we'll have like half the town will be dead by morning, is what they said.
And I also don't really think there's any assumption that she can make of like they're not just gonna murder the crap out of Abby anyway.
Like, why would they let her go?
But
'Cause
again,
it's-
I don't know. I don't
It's
actually know
not
what that
the
would be.
same Chica.
I don't think that's. I'm not gonna say that because I feel like high pressure situation. She knows Abby personally. This is the human life she can see in front of her right now that she can save. She's not exactly thinking about how they're gonna go murder all these.
Yeah, she's
faceless
just
kind of
trying to
people.
save Abby
Exactly.
in the moment.
So that's why I could be like, you know what? Sure, that's a decision that could work. And then for whatever reason they don't kill Vanessa. I guess because they were friends as children, and they just tie her up and put her in a cupboard. And Mike, because of his meeting with Henry, now learns that she's at this other location that exists, and then heads to the location. And Abby is like, Chica, you're my new science fair project. And they go to school, and all the animatronics are out because they got the code. Whoa, scary times. So Mike shows up, lets out Vanessa. She's like, they got the super Wi-Fi. Should have wrapped some tinfoil around that, And they got super Wi-Fi, and they got to we got to shut it down. They got 5G. And then she like frantically clicks around the computer and doesn't make any progress. And then and then Mike is like, "How about you leave and I'll sit here and click around the computer." For some reason. And then
It'll be like the other game.
And then we get the only part where I was like, "Oh, let's go," which is like he's in a security office, and I saw the mask when he first walked in, so I was like, "Oh, look, FNAF 2, this is cool." You see the little button that says light, it's like that's
yeah,
cool.
and also like one of my favorite lines in the thing.
Yeah, there's no door, and he's like,
Yeah,
"Who designed this?
dude, where's the door? There is no door.
Who designs that?" Yeah,
Who designs this?
yeah, that was good.
Which-
the
which-
only thing
which
they were
is a-
missing is
which
they
is a
needed
good
a better
reference.
they need a better joke to like. What do you mean closing a door uses power?
They needed that in the first game.
Yeah, they need to. They
This
they
is
need to make
well,
that.
I liked it because he didn't play the game in the first one, not real.
Which he didn't really in this one, but they did one thing. They was like he had the mask.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
so-
well he shined the flashlight out. They didn't show any of the vents, which I didn't like. I wish I
No, they
would've
did.
saw-
Bonnie was in the vent.
He closed the vent on Bonnie.
I need to rewatch the movie. There's a lot of things apparently that I've missed. So
Yeah, he closed the vent on Bonnie. That's what happened.
Yeah.
Um,
And then that's
Did
when
he
you see
actually?
the light button
yes,
as well.
Bonnie was in the vent. Well, you saw the light button the whole time, but you can also see it there. But yeah,
Yeah, I
Bonnie
mean,
was
like,
literally
that's-
crawling in the vent. Well, mangled Bonnie was crawling in the vent.
he
Like in the
closes the vent.
I don't think he closed it. I think Jake made that up
'Cause-
because I think Bonnie.
No, he
gets out.
physically
you-
closes the vent on Bonnie.
Oh yeah, he.
I watched it 2
I
hours.
don't remember that.
Yes, he.
I just didn't remember
shuts
that happening.
The
I
grate.
only know.
Yes, he shuts the grate.
Okay,
Yeah,
I low-key
I
did not
forgot
remember
about
that happened. But either I know
Well,
Bonnie
I thought
was
you were
in the
saying he
vent.
pushed the button and the thing came down. I was like, that did not happen.
No,
big
he
time.
like
But no,
physically closes it.
Yeah,
Yes, I
either
know
way.
what you're talking about.
So he's in the security office and he like does super hacker man, breaks into the mainframe, and thankfully they're all being tracked. So he knows exactly where they are, and then Chica gets a security breach on her thing.
Yeah,
Oh.
tough. W reference.
Yeah. Anyway, and then
Absolutely
she's like,
cinema.
they're like deploying prototypes, and it's like, oh, are those the Withereds or the Mangolds? I don't remember.
No wizards.
Yeah, Mangold is one of the animatronics. It's the Withereds. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's the Withered animatronics. Whoa. Oh, Corey, what's his face, made another cameo. Driving the taxi. And we get Chica without the beak, which was a fun reference.
Yeah, fun reference. I like that.
Yeah, so they drive away, and then the Wizards are coming after Mike, and he can't shut the door. I was a little annoyed that he just sees the mask. He's like, oh, this'll work, and he just holds the mask up to his face, and that was it's like it could have been like Vanessa could have mentioned something about that when she left, or like these animatronics have sensors in them that'll detect whatever. So you gotta use the mask to kind of like Phone Guy says in the game.
Yeah.
That would have been nice instead of Mike just like having level 1
Yeah.
trillion intuition.
Right, but also at the same time, it was a little. I thought it was funny how he puts the mask on and it works for who comes first. I think it might
Chica.
be it was Chica.
Chica.
Chica comes out first and he throws it on and he's like wait, that actually worked.
Yeah.
or something like that. I liked that
I was
because
just like-
it is
I
a
just
throwback
wish-
to the first game of like that. Like there's no way this would actually work, but it does make sense.
But I do think-
wish it was explained.
But it could be. I think that could still work if Vanessa tells him just use the mask, cover your face, and he'll be like, "That's not gonna work," and then it works, and he'd be like, "Oh, that actually works."
Okay, yeah,
Um,
that's fair.
So those are all happening. I do wish that he would have flashed the light to stop. I know it was mangled in the game, but you have Foxy. You could have just done it with that.
Well, no, it's Foxy in the game.
I thought it was mangled. Either way, doesn't matter.
It's it's Foxy in the game. You flash
Okay.
you spam the light. But anyways,
Okay,
yeah, keep
either
going.
way. Doesn't matter. The point is, I wish I had done that. For whatever reason, Foxy just moves slowly towards him. They're all super slow, but somehow they're all super fast at the same time. I know some of them took a taxi to get to the... I know Chica took a taxi to get to the science fair.
Foxy
Bonnie-
like dives on top of the car and like catches
Mangled
a
I'd be
car.
fine. Well, Mangled I'd be cool with because Mangled can move like
Well-
a snake more.
Yeah, but when it's like going after Mike, it's like moving at a snail's pace.
Well, Fox...
Oh,
Yeah,
are
yeah.
you talking
Fox,
about the Wizards?
yeah,
Yeah,
he is.
like
in this
Foxy,
position.
Foxy,
But I'm also
or
saying-
like
I'm
like
also saying
Foxy is
in general.
standing directly in front of the desk for like 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Like-
I didn't like that part because all
He-
the other
he-
ones
his-
can be slow.
Massive
But I'm just saying-
animatronic
I'm just
can't
saying,
like.
but
I'm just
Foxy
sitting here saying,
has
well,
to be
Jake,
fast.
we all know Jake is aware of that. well, we don't all know. Jake was playing the VR game, and Corbin told him to look out into the hallway, and then Foxy
It
sprinted
was like
down and killed Jake.
it was like you don't have to waste your battery in this one because it's VR. You can just look down the hallway, and I looked down and I'm oh,
Yeah, so that
Foxy's
yeah.
fast.
It was glorious.
But yes, the fun times are all moving slow, and or the toys. These aren't fun times. Fun times is
The toys, yeah.
The toy animatronics. They all move also very slow, yet somehow Bonnie and Freddy. It was Freddy, I think. Yes, Freddy and Bonnie somehow get all the way to the suburbs to go kill these people. And they're also
Bonnie goes to the suburbs first.
Yes,
Well,
but it's still super fast. They
It
get there
is
so
super
fast.
I'm not saying that.
With how
Freddy
slow
goes
they
to
move.
Freddy goes to the parade or whatever.
Yes,
Um,
again,
fast.
that's actually worse.
Which-
He goes to like 3 different locations before. Anyway, Mike is hacking in super slowly, and then he ends up not even having to hack. He just clicks like 2 buttons to get to the screen he wants.
This is another part where it felt like Kenobi because it's like 2 characters standing right next to each other, and the one doesn't just grab him or kill him for no reason.
Yeah, because there's a couple. Because first off, the mask keeps, and I'm like, okay, that's cool. So they'll just do that every time an animatronic gets close. It'll be kind of like the game. But then it just doesn't. He doesn't do it again. He doesn't do it again.
Well, he tries
Well,
it
he
and it doesn't
doesn't-
work on Foxy, and then
Yeah, it doesn't
Foxy
work on Foxy.
also doesn't try to kill him. He just stands there.
Yeah, well, in that reference is cool because Foxy's the only animatronic.
Yeah, it's a
the
cool
mask
reference,
doesn't
but
work
it
on.
also
Yeah, but it doesn't make sense because then it's like, why doesn't
that
Foxy
didn't
kill
just
him?
full on just like full sprint down the hallway.
It would have
and
been
just,
better.
like-
It would have been better if it's like he hears a noise and he flashes down the light, and then Foxy stops moving. If he was picking up like things that the player and the viewer knows because they played the game, it's like it'd be kind of cool. It's like him learning how to survive.
yeah, I
Very
feel
FNAF.
like
Whereas it's like they
literally
just
if you-
did it for one reference, and then it was like, okay, now let's get back to movie. That has to happen.
Yeah, I feel like if they just added on like another 2, like literally just like 1 or 2 minutes of just like, I mean, it doesn't have to be like consecutively. It could literally just been like,
Him,
flashes it down the
Quote
hallway,
unquote
sees it
playing
moving.
5 minutes at Freddy's.
him just playing the game a little bit more and figuring out.
Instead
Maybe we get someone in the vent and we see someone crawl out of the vent and they start shaking in front of the mask and he puts the mask up.
Instead of Foxy just decides, what if I just don't kill him? We do get the funny scene where he just murders the crap out of Balloon Boy.
That was fun. That actually was a cool transition scene because that was after the Wizards had gotten activated actually, and
I'd also been
everybody
waiting,
hates Balloon Boy.
I had been waiting to hear Balloon Boy say hello, so I was glad that they got that in.
Yeah,
hello.
they get that in. He tears the head off of it, and it ends up shining towards the Wizards. I actually thought that was a cool scene.
Yeah, but then again, it does also bring a question to me of like, why wouldn't he just try to tear the head off of all the other animatronics?
Yeah, if that's an option.
Boy, yeah, but Balloon Boy isn't threatening. Balloon Boy is a piece of trash who literally.
Okay,
just
yes,
he
but
doesn't
it is
know
still
that.
it's still a sentient robot that came at him.
Yeah, he doesn't know that. Just because Balloon Boy doesn't look super threatening, it's still built the same exact way in Mike's eyes. So there's no reason he would walk up to it and rip its head off and think it wouldn't kill him.
That's true. That one was.
Or
That
if
was just
he
like
thought
that
that,
was
he
that
would
was
think
that
he
was
could do the same.
that was reference over like.
That was reference over reality. Because
Yeah, that was like
literally just-
this will be a
just
good
like,
little joke for everybody.
because everybody hates Balloon Boy because
Yeah.
he doesn't kill you. He's
And I thought it was a
just
funny
annoying.
scene. I'm just saying it does bring that question to me of like, okay, why doesn't he then just try to rip the other one's heads off?
Well, also Balloon Boy's arms they can't.
Yes,
move.
again, but
He doesn't
still
know
last
that.
case scenario.
But he doesn't know.
Yeah.
I get where you're coming from.
'Cause,
I
Mike
like the
hasn't
scene.
played every FNAF game.
I like the scene. I'm just saying it doesn't make a lot of sense with the rest of the movie. I like the scene enough, and I thought it was funny because like, oh, Balloon Boy, he's stupid. We kill him. That's cool. I do think this could have been a good time to do the music box here. Maybe, like again, it's like we finally have Mike in a security office actually do it. So it's like you could actually. Because I think this kind of showed that you couldn't do it for an hour and a half like what it would be if it was a true FNAF adaptation. But it's like you get 10 minutes out of this of him like he has to manage turning the light so Fox doesn't get him, or holding the mask while winding the music box that's right next to him while also trying to disable the security. Like I think that's
You can have a
interesting enough-
compelling sequence of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be all in one big thing. Like maybe
Exactly.
if we're
You
going off
splice it
historic,
with scenes of what's happening in real life. But I'm just saying
Yeah.
it's like, or in real time outside. But it's like, I think that would have been a better way of like paying homage to Five Nights at Freddy's while you're still going with your, you think is better, but far worse story. So
Yeah.
then Chica murders the crap out of the science guy. Basically, he was mean earlier. He broke Abby's science fair project. And then she's like,
she just wants to talk to him. I just want to talk to him.
yeah.
And
And then Abby gets him killed, which, look, she didn't know, but it is still Abby that gets him killed by saying, this guy specifically ruined my life.
To
now,
the
Abby
murder robot.
But
To
and
the
Abby
mo-
doesn't know
yeah.
that she's going to go murder him, but I'm just saying.
She
like,
does know it's a
that is
murder
the
robot.
reason. That is the reason. That is the reason why they make him so mean, is so you don't go, Abby just got
No.
that innocent guy killed.
Yeah, Abby just snitched on him and now he's dead. He just got his skull crushed.
Yeah.
Pony study watching me every day.
Yeah,
how Chica
like
was
cool
moving.
sequence of having a guy's head crushed in a PG-13 movie. So that was cool. I feel like a lot of kills were pretty good. Like they were decent enough kills to an extent. There were so few of them, but like everything after the first one is like that's a pretty good kill. Like the piranha robots murdering him, mangled, smoke, the bite of 87 murder. That was a cool one. I did yell that a couple times, and since I did have the theater to myself, I was messing around. Is that the bite of 87? So the mangled kill was cool. The piranha kill was cool. The Chica crushing the guy's head was cool. So all that happens, and Vanessa mangled lands on Vanessa's car. Vanessa crashes but keeps driving, and then throws. First off, why doesn't she brake ever? She speeds up when mangled lands on her car.
I don't know, maybe to try to like throw it off, but I mean, you gotta
then
gain
you brake.
speed.
You
and
slam
then,
the
and then hit
brakes. and
Either
it
way,
flies
She
off.
does.
Yeah,
No,
at-
she goes off the
after
road.
she should be dead,
She crashes.
but for whatever reason, mangled spares her life.
Yeah, I was watching it. I literally didn't understand what was happening.
Yeah,
Mangled physically
I didn't like
grabbed
that
her,
scene.
and then she was just like, and then she
I
just
guess
got
it's
out.
kind of maybe we can make the implication Charlotte doesn't want to kill her because Charlotte left her alive earlier.
Yeah, that's fair.
I think we can make that.
That's fair.
But I don't. Then again, I don't
We-
know
we
why
can make that
Mangled would
assumption,
get sent after
but-
her. Maybe to slow her down.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just weird.
But also, here's the problem I had with that scene was because like Mangle lore wise is literally just King Von. I mean, genuinely just slimes anybody she comes in contact with. So if
She's being
Mangle gets
controlled by
sent after-
Charlotte.
Yeah, but she's getting controlled by Charlotte in this one. But like, if this were the game and she was on top of the car and she even remotely got an arm in there, she has an extra head to bite things. That is the extra endoskeleton that is on there, plus a hand.
It was
plus a
just
mouth.
it was
It
just
should
weird
have
because it was
genuinely
like
been over for Vanessa.
it was weird because it was like they're trying to kill her, but for whatever reason they just don't. But I think I can make that jump because Vanessa got spared in the first place. Maybe Charlie doesn't want to kill her. But she goes up. Freddy wants to kill just, I guess, any parents. It wasn't even like they were going after the parents
got
who
parents
didn't
to
listen to
kill.
Charlotte. Which then again, it's like, why didn't you just go to the science fair and kill all those kids' parents? Or like the Faz Fest and kill all those parents? Or even at the Faz Fest, show them it's like they want to kill the parents there, but everyone's like in cosplay, so it's like the same as like the mask concept working. I don't know, that was all just weird. They get saved by Mangled throwing through a window. The other one
Which that scene was tough. I liked that.
The other one
that was cool.
gets saved because the girl runs out and is like, "Don't murder the crap out of my mom." And these animatronics are so loud at all times until they go stealth mode for the murderer. The sound of a garage door getting grabbed by a giant animatronic robot would be quite loud.
Yeah. I don't know.
A garage door opening is loud.
Yeah.
It's loud.
Yeah.
A giant
In the one
animatronic
story house,
robot that
which is what they were in.
that stomps when
Yeah,
it
they
walks.
stomp. Same with Bonnie sneaking in, and then it's like,
And they're also like painfully slow. So just
sometimes.
on screen
but-
they're painfully slow. Off screen they move fast. On screen, they're
It's
painfully
it's
slow.
The Walking Dead. Just walk at a just run away. Just move
walk
away at a
that way.
slow, brisk pace.
Like the daughter and the mom are like cowering for a solid 3 minutes straight, and Bonnie doesn't take a single step.
They're letting the anticipation build.
Well, it's also like the mom is cowering before Bonnie has even grabbed the knife. She's like, ah, 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 and
I
then
would be too.
run away.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
the mom
yeah.
didn't have anywhere to run. The more thing is like Bonnie just is then.
Bro,
freezing.
she did. She was not cornered. Bonnie was standing 5 feet away from her. Run away.
Survival instincts of a potato, bro.
Genuine survival instincts of like a peeled carrot.
Fight, flight, or die.
Yeah.
I'll take die.
Carrot.
Actually, I'll just
Fold,
stay
is
here
it-
and die.
Is it fight, flight, or fold? And she folds.
She was folding.
Yeah,
It's like just walk
yeah.
to the left.
Yeah. So from there, Mike shuts them down, but then they get not shut down because somehow
Also-
when the puppet goes from the first girl into Abby, she gets a new Wi-Fi connection. Question mark?
I don't know. I don't remember how that's.
It was it literally just showed the screen and it was like she turned it back on. It's like how?
Or
It's like,
wait,
it's
did she turn it back on, or was it just the last one had a transponder? It's just weird. Basically, they all rush to the house. Vanessa, her car's broken, so she can't make it, and there's no way for her to get to the house, so they're screwed. Except random painter guy pulls up for whatever reason.
Literally the most contrived contrivance to ever be a contrivance.
Saved by random chance.
It's like
Random
why is he
painter
there
guy.
during Fast Fest? Because Vanessa needed him to be there.
Random painter guy. Hey, Vanessa, you need a ride?
Hey, Vanessa.
I do, actually.
Vanessa, are we some kind
Go
of
to Mike's
Thunderbolts?
house.
Mike's
Go to
house.
Mike's house.
Now.
Mike!
Yeah.
They should have done that. They would have worked. If Vanessa went, Mike! They probably would have won.
And if she was an even worse actor, it would have worked even better.
If she didn't have a single good crying scene.
Yeah, but you see, they got around it with Stranger Things by writing 11 to not be able to interact as a human. You see,
True.
if they had written Vanessa like
True.
that,
They
then you-
literally cast Millie Bobby
it
Brown.
was
They were
it
like,
was Gal
give her
Gadot.
way less.
Well, no, it's because
lines.
she was a child. Yeah,
She was 9.
Don't.
so-
she was
Don't,
10 years
don't.
old. Yeah,
Don't
but then
care.
she got the Gal Gadot cheese, where it's like she's so good at playing someone who's never spoken to another human before,
And it's like, wait.
and then that's just every role she's been in since.
Hold up.
Yeah, and then they get another role, and you go, oh.
Wait, why is she still doing the 11?
It's like,
Why
wait,
is she
why
acting like she's
she's-
never spoken to a human?
Why is she still acting like Wonder Woman? Oh, she's a terrible
Enough
actress.
champagne to fill the Nile.
Gal Gadot gets a pass though.
No, she did for a while, but then it got too bad. No one can look past it anymore.
Bro, you can't be attractive enough to be that bad of an actress.
It worked for like 5 years, and now it's
It
just
did.
been like, and now it's like, okay, look, you gotta give me something. Can you like smile or something? Like,
Can you look like you have a thought behind your eyes?
Can you emote? Like it worked at first, and then now it's
Kal-El,
okay, right,
no.
we gotta stop complaining about Gal Gadot because we
Sorry.
could go to. So
We do that for
they
hours.
yeah, they shut down everything. They rush to Mike's house, and first Mike goes to FNAF 1 location, and he's like, "Hey guys, if you can hear me, Coach is
We
right.
need
If
you."
we want to win this fight, it's on us. And if you
Hey.
ever actually cared about my sister, you
We
would
might
be
have
there,
had
man."
we might have had our problems, but if you really care about Abby, you gotta help us now.
So they run back to Mike's house, and then it's like Vanessa's there, and she's like hiding, and it's like always check behind the door, but then she's not behind the door.
But then
Vanessa
it doesn't
should've-
help her.
Maybe Vanessa should have grabbed the music box before she left Freddy's. Just a thought. I don't know.
Especially
And
since she knew about the music box.
Yeah, she was kind of the one who did it, and
She
so
kind of
then-
sort of made it a thing.
or at least show us the puppet breaking the music box or something for a reason as to why she can't have the music box.
Maybe she steps on it on accident. It can be dumb, but show something.
Yeah. And then we get We Are Five Nights at Freddy's, the ending, the
Bro,
real Five Nights at
I
Freddy's of the
hated
friends we
it
made along the
so.
way.
They literally just
Literally,
ripped
so we're
them
sitting
in
there.
half
We're sitting there.
so
We're sitting there.
easily.
So we're sitting there, right? They're about to get killed. But first, Michael walks back in. Oh my gosh!
Oh, it's evil Mike.
And then they are like, yeah, so you know the hero from the first game, the protagonist, who you thought Mike Schmidt was, but then we retconned that for Vanessa. Yeah, we realized that everyone was like really mad about that for some reason. So this guy's now Michael Afton.
Yeah, which brings
And
me
he's
to
actually
the biggest
he's the
problem.
murderer.
My biggest problem.
He
with the
wants to finish. So they basically swap Vanessa in a very, 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 very broad sense here. They kind of swap the role that Michael and Elizabeth have to a very broad role. Because remember, once Elizabeth is captured by Circus Baby, she's like so desperate to like help her father and like the approval and all that like thing. Whereas now it's like Michael Afton said like we will always be his, which I thought he was going to say we will always come back, and I was like, bro, no, don't say it, don't say that. But yeah, I'm like, this is when I was like, you're just pissing on the games. Like, you've bastardized a lot of other things. Now you're just like, yeah, you know the character that everyone was kind of mad that we didn't do in the first game? Well, here he is, and now he's the bad guy.
Mm-hmm. The only way I make sense, well, it still doesn't make sense that there's two Mikes. The only way I make sense of Michael Afton being bad at this moment is because if the timeline's right, he should be turning into Purple Guy as we speak. Because Sister Location has already happened if they're going off the correct timeline.
Yes, but you're writing the script for the movie now. Like you're justifying this assassination of a character for the script. Like,
I'm not saying it's right or wrong.
I know, I'm just saying like but I understand you're saying that, but I'm like saying like this is bad because they clearly don't have a plan. They have a rough plan, but they don't have like a we're connecting all these things here then there plan.
Yeah, I'm just saying like people like a bunch of people online were mad that it's like it doesn't make any sense that Michael Afton's bad. It does because technically he's already been scooped. He's already been scooped.
If they do that, but I don't.
If they do that,
there's no reason to know that they have.
Again, but that's the only way I make sense of it. So he's already scooped. Ennard should already be inside of him. And what they should do is throughout the next upcoming games, they should make a movie that is in your guys' mind. They should make a good movie. A very good movie.
Writing wise, and it doesn't have to be a very good movie. The plot has to make sense.
Yes, if
it can be silly, dumb, and goofy. If it kind of makes sense.
Yes, but
not
he
like
should slowly,
kind of, just a little bit.
Yeah, he should slowly turn purple. The way to save this is if he slowly turns purple.
That's not the way to save it.
Yeah,
bro.
that wouldn't save it.
That wouldn't save it.
They've already ruined
it. But it makes this. It makes
like,
this
oh look, the movie sucked, but he's kind of purple
You can
now.
You can make him not evil by doing that. Yes, but
because Michael Afton in the end is the hero
protagonist.
He's the protagonist. He's the main.
Yes, he ends up being the protagonist, but at this moment he is not because
but
he's
either so
the control of Ennard. So
then we get the the real Five Nights at Freddy's was the friends we made along the way. But
also, sorry to interrupt, Caleb. None of the Mike Afton storyline you're talking about wouldn't have happened because he isn't the Mike that was FNAF 1 Mike.
Yeah, but
so
the Ennard
thing.
Hold on.
That could still happen, but a lot of
Corbin's
like
saying.
some of the stuff in his backstory wouldn't have even happened.
But it does.
I see what you're saying, Jake. I'm literally just gonna disregard the first movie.
Yeah. Anyway, so
that's
then
a
we
great thing to do with a sequel.
Then we get We Are Five Nights at Freddy's. Yeah. So Corbin, you're disregarding the first movie. So the
sign of a great movie.
I will say by that
disregard everything before.
Hold on. By that justification, that does mean that these are 5 random, just so happen to be animatronics that spawn out of nowhere and save the main characters' lives.
No, I'm saying that.
No, I'm joking. I'm joking.
They have Michael Afton.
I'm joking.
And then Mike Schmidt, because the biggest problem, which is basically what I was trying to say. Continue.
I was laughing so hard when they literally did the Avengers in-game, hey, Mike, on your left. And then Freddy smashed through the window. And they just are like, rah. They just start tearing apart the toy animatronics.
And they just one tap. They just like rip it in half. And they
then
put
Mike
up zero
Afton-
resistance.
And then Mike Afton runs out the door and random painter friend just decks him. He's like, where you going, punk?
It's like, why did he punch him? Why did he punch this random guy?
And then they're leaving the house, and Mike turns to Vanessa and goes, I can't trust you. And then they leave. And then the movie ends. And the credits roll. Here's what I'll say. The opening scene I had problems with for it logically making sense. The middle of the movie, I have a lot of problems with it, but I still think it's kind of stupid. It flows. The ending is just slop garbage. What was that?
The thing with the movie is it's like FNAF 1, it wasn't perfect. It wasn't great. But FNAF things happened in the FNAF movie.
The story progresses
movie
in a way
felt
that makes
like
sense.
It showed you references, but actual FNAF stuff didn't happen.
There were references, and then they forgot the story, and then it also wasn't.
It's like the references didn't matter, and the story didn't matter to the references.
It makes me wonder, and that's where it makes me wonder. It's like, did the first movie do successful enough that executives, when they were making this one, were like, "That's cool, you can keep that, but just make this change."
Well, I think it's like
they were
the first
retconning a
movie
lot
was
of things.
successful enough, and they changed a lot of stuff that they're like,
So,
okay, fans are good with us changing stuff.
Let me give the context real quick. So, the first movie had a budget. It's not been revealed officially, but it was really low. It was somewhere around like 25 to 50 million. Marketing was probably far more expensive than the budget. We'll call it 75 million total budget with marketing included. Box office for FNAF 1. And that could be too harsh. That could be too light. But there isn't really an actual box office number. And then worldwide, the movie did 291 million. So
Made a lot of money.
you have to do your math there. So your general 50% though, which is without breaking down all the math, 50% of the 291 million. That's still a lot more than if they even spent 75, which that could be a way overestimation. So that's a lot. That's a very profitable movie. So they now know they have this thing. So now is there more oversight? Now is there more whatever? Because that just happens with stuff all the time. I think they could have saved. Here's the problem. I think that this movie's really bad, and I think that Corbin, if I had watched it like you did in a theater full of people who knew all the references and were going crazy all the time, I would have enjoyed myself more. I still think I would have thought the movie was trash, but I would have enjoyed myself more. I didn't. I watched it alone by myself with no one else there. So I didn't really have anything else to do other than actually like, because I literally was going in going, this is going to be a slop movie, but it's going to be like, oh, fun reference. But it was kind of distractingly bad. Whereas the first movie, the story was so minor, and it was all like FNAF things happening. Here's the story, and the story flowed good enough. Yeah, and it makes me worry that a third movie, I think they cut their knees off. They cut their own knees off. The opening was still good. It was like a pretty big opening. I can find it, but it was a really good opening weekend, which was to be expected, and it has a $113 million worldwide gross right now. So $67 million domestic opening, $46 million international opening, which is very good and could be around the budget. It depends on how much they spent. And I'm worried now that they've cut themselves off because they're going to keep bringing Josh Hutcherson and Abby and Vanessa back. And this is kind of my general thing. I think this whole thing could have worked. This movie could have sucked. All this could have happened if we just never saw Mike Schmidt and Abby again. I like Josh Hutcherson, probably best actor in this movie. It gets a lot better if after this second Mike Afton scene doesn't happen. Mike Afton runs away from FNAF 2 location, and the third movie we're following him, and it's his story as he's trying to. Then we go to the game story of it's Mike Afton chasing basically, his father's work, burning, that you know the general concept I'm talking about with that Corbin, right? So I think
Yes.
it flows better. It does a better job paying homage. It keeps your audience around. You do have an audience that's going to come watch this, and you don't, and you keep your moment like you had in this one where Josh Hutcherson was playing Five Nights at Freddy's 2 in the game, but you can tell a story because Corbin, remember in the first game, Mike Schmidt gets fired from the place for tampering with electronics.
Yeah.
You never really know what that means in the game. Obviously you can make assumptions based on lore, but like in the game, you never did that. You were in the office the whole time. So
Right.
you can tell that story now. And so you work your way back through that. You have them burn down, locations. You have
He has
them
to. He burns down Fazbear Frights, and then
exactly.
he's
So
gonna burn down
you
this
obviously
building. And,
culminate with your general FNAF 6 of they're all gathered in one place and they burn them all down. And you could do that. I don't think they're going to. I think Mike Afton is going to be their main guy villain when they still have Springtrap, or they'll retcon that when they make the third movie because they realize everyone's mad that he's a bad guy now, and they just can't seem to get the Mike Afton thing right. But who knows?
But the only way to save the Mike Afton thing of making him evil is like what I said earlier. So
yes,
they do that,
and even
and
then,
I
it's
do
still going to
agree.
hurt the movie if they don't just follow him and they keep bringing back Abby
Yeah,
and even
no.
Vanessa.
Well, yes. Michael Afton becomes the main part of the story. I think what they tried to do was they tried to like. I feel like the writers wanted a consistent character, so they're like, oh, let's have Josh Hutcherson and
Yes.
Abby and Piper. We wanted a consistent character. To me, it just doesn't work for what's gonna happen next. It's really not gonna work for the third movie because there is two characters in the second game.
The reason this disappoints me,
William and Michael.
the reason it disappoints me is that the guy who plays Mike Afton looks so slimy enough that he could be playing the purple guy, Michael, like to an extent, like
no,
without having to actually make him purple, if that makes any sense. So if you don't want to actually make him purple skin, because that could be hard to do with him getting security jobs, who knows? But he like looks creepy and slimy
you could make him
enough
look like sickly and
that you could justify
Yeah.
all of that in the first game. It's like, how does he get this job? Well, it's security guard at night, and he looks all weird, and everyone thinks he's a social guy. All this thing, right? And that's the reason it annoys me a bit. Whereas it's going to be Josh Hutcherson again, and they could have avoided all that by just having him be Michael Afton from the start, but they didn't do that. So here we are.
Which they should have done. In my opinion, they should have just like throwing in Michael Afton. That was my biggest eye roll of the movie. Because they show that he's like, oh, I'm Michael. Second I saw him say that, he has a purple shirt underneath. Of course, my name's Michael.
They said security guard Mike, and it wasn't Mike Schmidt, and I was like, oh, it's Mike Afton. Because otherwise they would have named him Jeremy, because of Jeremy Fitzgerald.
Yeah, it would have been Jeremy Fitzgerald. Yeah.
So I was like, okay, this could work, because now we could follow this Mike Afton in the and then they just made him evil, and I was like, what the hell?
Yeah, but. Like genuinely, if it was a thing where literally the ending of that movie was like they should have played it up more, but and they won't do this, but if they were just like Michael, like Josh Hutcherson and Piper are basically just off of these movies
Piper?
now because they are what?
Who's Piper?
Piper's Abby.
Okay.
Sorry. If Mike Schmidt and Abby just happen to disappear off of the face of the universe. And we don't see them until, ever. It would make more sense. Now that does suck because I do like Josh Hutcherson, and he's like you said, definitely the best actor. Abby never cared for. She doesn't make sense for her to be there. I know the story like follows her in the first movie. In the second movie, she does literally nothing. She gets a dude killed, and she is a
types in the code
psychomaniac
that lets the electronics go out, and is the whole reason the plot happens.
Yeah. But you could have done that in other ways if you never put her in the movie in the first place.
Yeah.
She just doesn't make a ton of sense to me. It just doesn't follow the story super well. But I mean, I still enjoyed watching the movie.
Okay. Jake, closing thoughts?
I think the movie sucked. The plot was horrible. The general story was horrible. The acting was mostly bad. Josh Hutcherson was the best, but I mean, with a crap script, you can't really do a whole lot. The cinematography was worse than the first movie. It felt weird. There were good parts, but the majority of it just felt kind of weird. It just wasn't good. It was bad.
Okay. Yep. I they're gonna make a third. I think they already greenlit a third, which makes sense. This one's gonna make money. If it makes less than the first, it'll matter how much before I'm willing to fully say like the third will be the last one. It's all gonna depend on what the second weekend looks like. And if it's, I think anyway, if it's like 250 million, they might be able to get a couple more out of it. But to me, I feel like it's gonna stall out maybe at 180 million, 190 million, so 100 million less. And then it gets kind of the Jurassic World area where it's like the law of diminishing returns. This one made 100 million less. You're going to make 100 million less on the next one. You're going to make 60 million less. And you're just going to start going down and down and down. Yeah, I got a lot of problems with how the writing in the movie. I think, and I'm not saying this to insult you, Corbin. You enjoyed the movie. I do think this is a good example. If you go listen to when Corbin is countering a point as to like why you enjoyed it or why you weren't as annoyed by it. All of them were Corbin writing the script for the movie or saying, I justified this myself by this habit. It's headcanon. It's not what the script shows. That's not necessarily a bad thing. If you enjoy a movie doing that, feel free to. I do that I just pretend, it's like Born Again, that didn't happen. Daredevil season 1, 2, and 3. That's it.
That's it.
And
Born Again was
and
thing.
They all lived happily ever after.
Apparently there's a Wreck-It Ralph 2 movie.
Exactly. So, like, I don't have a problem with headcanon. It's when you kind of get self-blinded by headcanon and convince yourself a movie is like a flawless masterpiece, which I don't think you've done, Corbin. I think you had fun watching it, which, again, like I said, if I watched in a fully crowded theater, I would have had more fun watching it. And I enjoy some of the references. I thought the rest of it was just so bad, and teaching yourself not to write the script for the movie is something weirdly that you have to do now. Just it didn't used to be a thing because usually they wrote the script for the movie themselves, and it made sense. But as movies have gotten worse and worse, and it's all
you
slop,
have to be like, oh, it's because of this, maybe.
And everyone else tells you what you're seeing is amazing. You're like, it has to be amazing, so I have to be missing something, and you write the script for it. And I don't think that's, like I said, I don't think it's a bad thing. I think that's just a good example of like a movie can be entertaining and it can also be really horror. It can be a bad movie at the end. You're going to see that when you say, okay, what do you think of this problem? It's going to be, well, I think that you would say it's this happening. That's writing the script for the movie. Whereas, in a flawless cut together movie, you should be able to justify it with something that happens in the plot. At the end of the day, it's a Five Nights at Freddy's movie. Should it be that deep? No. But at the same time, the second, at the same time, the second you say that, you're already disrespecting the game itself. The game's lore doesn't flow together perfectly, but it's a really compellingly told story. There's a reason it caught on so well with this generation. So it's like, the second you go, oh, it's Five Nights at Freddy's, it doesn't need to be that serious. It's like, yeah, but you already have this really compelling, serious story, and you're not doing it. Like, you're doing your own thing, and you're making it stupid.
Yeah, but my closing thoughts, that is my biggest problem. Like, I said having two Aftons was the biggest problem. That's the biggest problem with this movie for me. The fact, like, I understand, like, you can't, like, you can, but maybe they didn't want to just straight up just follow the games and the game lore. You should have.
I didn't think they should have after I watched the first movie. The second movie, whatever they're planning now, which I'm not convinced they have a plan, whatever they're planning now is clearly objectively worse than the thing that was going on in the game. Whereas the first movie, it was probably worse, but it also was like decent enough that it was like a fun twist.
Yeah.
Or a fine twist.
Like, to me, if they would have just, like, the first movie, I can understand maybe a little bit. There's not that much going on in the first game. There's not too much lore. It's like 2 and beyond. So if the first movie is a bunch of like filler, I guess is kind of the word I'm looking for. If you want to throw in a bunch of filler, you're trying to fill up the story. You're trying to like make it from big plot point to big plot point. The first movie being kind of weird is fine. But like 2 and beyond, there's so much like lore and different plot points. There are all these different like moments you could hit. All you have to do is just fill the tiny little chunks getting from point to point, and that's just what they need to start doing to
Yeah,
follow the story.
I do want to counter your first point there. And this is just because I want to talk crap about executives, because this has to be mainly executive, mainly writers. You're not wrong that could be how they salvage this. The issue is that is the timeline the games went through. And this is just a whole, like, studios are embarrassing at adapting games. Scott Cawthorn made the first FNAF game as, like, this is a pretty basic horror game, and he's like, I'll add in the missing children, a couple basic lore pieces, and I don't really have a plan on where this is gonna go. And then it was super popular, so he was like, okay, well, now I need to add story, I need to retcon. So the second game is gonna be more, and then it's like I need to fill those gaps because it was like he didn't maybe he had the master plan when he made that first game, but there's no way he thought it was gonna be as successful as it was. The issue is these executives in the studio have the knowledge that this was a huge success.
Yeah, they have the whole they
didn't start. They didn't make, let's make a silly little horror movie and it won't even be popular. Which maybe that's probably what they did, and that's why it's so weird that it's like that. But it's like that's just that's like just a disaster of like this happens with them adapting games. It's like they just don't take games seriously. They don't take video games seriously. That's how you get the Assassin's Creed movie. That's how you get a FNAF 2 kind of movie where it's like this is closer. It's not good. That's how you get, dude. I'm just blanking on video game adaptations because they all suck, right? Most video adaptations suck for a reason. Like the first season of The Last of Us was all right. The Super Mario Brothers movie was, I think, a pretty good adaptation from what I'm told.
Oh yeah, I like that movie.
Haven't seen it, haven't played it, don't know. The first FNAF game or the first FNAF movie was a terrible adaptation of FNAF, but you know what? It was like a set in a similar world. It wasn't actually set in the Five Nights at Freddy's world, but now they're trying to do that. So now you're mixing in all the other stuff, and it's like, okay, but now you just like, why didn't you just follow the game? So yeah, I'm saying that more as an indictment on these studios just being incapable of adapting video games to movies and shows. It's like it shouldn't be that hard, but for whatever reason it is. It's because it boils down to they don't take it seriously as a medium of telling stories. So those are my closing thoughts. It's fun to actually discuss a movie. Me and Jake, we've been just time filling every time we jump on here the last few, but
it's just been news and
just whatever we can figure out to talk about. I know we've been going for a while, so we won't do too much. But is there any other last topics not related to FNAF or anything, Corbin, that you can think of? You watched anything interesting recently?
What am I watching? I'm watching Henry Danger. You guys know that. The actual show itself, the episodes are pretty horrible, but like the one-liners, like adult jokes that they make throughout the show is actually hilarious. Of course, never caught it as a kid, so watching through it now, I'm always like, Ray, you're just trying to bang his mom the entire show. So Henry Danger's been pretty fun. I watched all the X-Men movies. I just forget the back half of them exist. X-Men 97 is probably one of my favorite series that I've watched.
That's fair. It was good.
It was really good.
I hope they don't make another season since the main writer quit.
Oh,
I believe they already greenlit it.
Oh,
yeah. I think
I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's already like coming out next year or the year after or something like that.
Yeah.
But it was good.
Watching?
Yeah,
of course,
the main
FNAF
writer,
movie.
DeMayo's gone. So
yeah, if we want to watch some real cinema, we watch Lando Norris win his first championship at Formula One. Watch that cinema, and because I was watching that, I had to watch Rush, which still goes down as like top 5 favorite movies all time. Banger movie.
All right,
but other than that,
now hold on. You mentioned it. What off the top of your head doesn't have to be your final list. What are your top 5 movies of all time? Just so we can really, just again, so that we can get the opinion out there before anyone starts trying to take you seriously about you thinking that this is a good movie. Okay. Yeah. Rush is like, okay.
Rush.
Once you drop that Pixels is in your top 10.
And Cars 2.
No, but Cars 2 isn't my top 10, big dog. It's in my top 5. It's in my top 1. Cars 2 is my favorite movie. So
favorite.
Cars 1.
It can be a favorite.
What?
I'm
Yeah,
saying
it can be your favorite.
I'm
It can be your
It's
I'm
not,
doing-
it's
I'm
not
doing
top
top
5
five
greatest
favorites.
movies of all time, Jake.
Oh, my top 5 greatest movie?
No, that's not what I'm asking. I'm not asking that. I'm
Okay, yeah.
asking your top 5
favorite and
favorites.
best are not the same.
Yes,
Yeah, no,
because The
I
Winter
won't
Soldier is
be
one of my
doing
favorite MCU movies, and it's kind of a broken movie.
So let's see. We got Cars 1. We have How to Train Your Dragon. We have Rush.
You really like the live
Talladega
action How to Train Your
Nights.
Dragon that much?
Kill Yourself.
Oh,
You know
whoa,
that's
that
not-
was a
you
joke.
know-
that was
you
a
know-
joke.
you-
family
you know
show.
that's
strike
not-
me.
This
Do
is a
not
You know
family
that's
show.
not the
This
one
is a
I was-
family
Do
show.
not
You know
strike
that's
me,
not-
YouTube.
In
That's-
Minecraft. In
that's-
Minecraft.
Yes,
in
please
Minecraft,
clarify,
of
not
course.
for me, for
In-
any AI that
in
reads through
Minecraft.
this. That was a joke and not a
Minecraft.
serious.
In
yes,
Minecraft.
We're referring to video
in
games.
Minecraft.
Five Nights at Freddy's video
in,
game.
In
Okay.
Five
okay.
Nights at Freddy's video game. He's gonna leave the mask down. That's what I'm saying. But no, not the live action one.
What was the last movie you said?
Talladega Nights.
Talladega Nights.
Okay.
And then at the 5 slot,
No family plan.
what?
Killed Ninja on his own street.
That movie's so bad. Family Plan is the worst movie
Bro,
ever
we
put to
might.
screen.
Me and you. Hold on, Jake. Me and you.
We should do a stream where we watch it.
We might have to do. No, Family Plan 2's out. We might have to watch that and talk about it. Next week.
Family Plan?
Bro.
We might have to. We might have to.
Or
Bro,
wait,
what is that?
you're the guy who killed Ninja on his own stream?
That
We
can't
might
be a
have-
real movie.
It is.
No,
What-
that's a
dude,
real line from the
that is a
movie
real-
that affects the plot.
Yes.
Plot ramifications, by the way.
I think it was. Wasn't it Valkyrie who said that?
I think so. Or
She
no, I
rolls
think it
up.
was the nerd
Holy-
guy. It was Valkyrie or the nerd guy with Valkyrie.
You're
Yeah,
the guy who
You're
killed
the
Ninja on his own-
on his own stream?
in Valorant, a game Ninja plays.
Yeah. Oh, wait, no,
Notorious
last movie
Ninja
real
game,
quick.
Valorant?
At the 5 slot, the original Avengers movie. Boom.
Banger,
That's just the first one that comes to my head.
banger.
Go to top 5.
Okay, hold on. 3 favorite shows. Again, favorite right now.
Breaking Bad. No. No. I haven't finished it. I'm sorry, guys.
Breaking
It's,
Bad's good.
it's
Jake's
great.
getting
but it-
offended. I haven't
it's-
seen any of it, so
listen.
It's not
Breaking
that.
Bad is a great show.
It's
I'm
overglazed.
there's
it's
10
definitely
seasons.
overglazed.
There's 22 episodes a season, and they're an hour-long episode. I would love to
And-
watch it. I'm just too far behind.
It could be a season or two shorter.
Yeah, and
I mean,
I
that's
am
most shows,
in
though.
I'm in the boring parts where people are like, oh dude, the middle is just the boring part, but if you push through it, I'm like, but pushing through it is hell because
there's
it's
a
not
lot of
Breaking Bad fans are
nothing
like
happening.
live-action One Piece fans.
Yes.
Bro, you just gotta watch
Um,
the first 16,000 episodes.
It's
and it
like
gets
this-
so
top-
good.
The
It's peak
story,
after that.
like the story is really good.
you can do top
but
3,
there's
Corbin, if you
so
can't think of-
much
can't think
filler.
of-
All right,
I think I
top
said
3
top three.
favorite shows that I've watched. Ted Lasso. Ted Lasso, goated
Yep,
show.
first 2 seasons. Yep, the 2
first 2
seasons
seasons that
the
exist.
two
Dude,
seasons
I really wish
that
we got a
exist.
third season.
Yeah, I
I
can't
really
believe
wish we
they.
did.
Yeah,
Yeah.
bro, and a 4th. You know, I'm like,
And if and if they happen to make a 3rd and 4th, if they wanted to make a 5th, they definitely shouldn't do that. If they're planning on, I don't know, basing it around like a girls team. Not there's anything wrong
After
with
he
women,
like
you're just getting
retires
rid of-
from the guys team after he wins the championship, so he can spend more
Yeah,
time with his
for-
kid.
he didn't.
But he,
even win
do-
the
but
championship.
but
Actually-
he's not going to come back to coach the
um,
championship caliber team that just won the championship.
He
gonna
actually
he's
didn't
gonna
win the
come back and get the
championship.
Oh right,
actually,
they
placed
lost.
second.
They lost.
They
by
actually
one.
placed
They lost
second,
by one.
buddy.
They won their
Yeah,
last game. They lost the championship because the other team.
Yeah,
Whatever.
This
but-
is how the Apple
so-
TV
so-
writers felt.
Yeah.
Look,
they Except it's lost, more like- but
they're
still except it's happy more like- because it's they more have like-
each other.
Instead of enlightened monkey, it was retarded monkey. Yeah. So Ted Lasso.
Ted Lasso. I'm gonna go with Initial D. It's an anime. It's like a car drifting
Yeah,
anime.
that's the car anime.
Yeah, super tough. You should watch it. And then
I tried.
3. Dude, I don't even know. I'm like trying to rack my brain. Oh wait,
Oh.
duh. The original Ben 10 series. Duh.
I was expecting
You serious?
Pokemon
Nux.
in there. I'm not gonna lie.
Nux.
Pokemon Sun and Moon is right out. Is like top 5. It's probably in the 4 or 5 slots.
All right.
Sun and Moon is right there.
I wanna wrap it up, but I do want to ask you just because I know you've been rewatching and watching stuff for the first time, like in your first semester at school. I guess you've had a lot more free time or something, and you've just been on a watching or
Yes.
rewatching kick. I know you said X-Men 97 is one of your is up there. So other than that, I guess what is like your top 3? I don't know how much exactly you watched, 3 or 5, whatever's easier, of like in order of like things that you either rewatched or think you rewatched that you hadn't seen in a while or watched for the first time.
While I've been up at school.
Yeah, in the last few months.
So
I don't know
X-Men
if it's 3 or
97.
5, but yeah.
X-Men. I'll do top 3 because I'll just do top 3 just because I won't be able to think of all of them. I'll go X-Men 97 at number 1 because that was a banger show. Enjoyed it. Whenever it ended, I was like genuinely sad. Whenever they killed Gambit, I was a little pissed off. But I was willing to look past that because it was a good show. Shut up. What else?
No, I mean you just you like Gambit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Aura.
It's like if my favorite character was Cyclops,
Like Daredevil, and then they like
I'd be like, hey, maybe stop cucking Cyclops with Wolverine in every Cyclops adaptation. Let him just be tough.
I think this guy's favorite character might be Cyclops.
He's like
Dude,
top
this guy's
3 favorite
genuinely
X-Men.
upset.
I mean,
It seems kind of personal. I think this guy's favorite character might be Cyclops.
it's my two of my favorite X-Men, Wolverine and Cyclops. I'm
Is
tired
Wolverine
of
above Cyclops. Hold on. Is Wolverine above Cyclops?
probably, yeah.
So you're probably all right with the cucking then, because you're like, oh,
I'm
I should
not,
be mad, but he's got
because
so much more
both of them should be their own character, but both of them are constantly just like, oh Jean, I love you. Just be tough and be Wolverine, or be tough and be Cyclops and be the leader of the X-Men.
All right,
Yeah.
Corbin, you were saying before you were so rudely interrupted.
Sorry.
Yeah, exactly. And Gambit isn't.
Am I wrong? Gambit gets cucked too. You should be mad.
No, I'm mad because Rogue is a whore. This dude is genuinely giving
Literally
you
physically
his heart, and
incapable of being a whore. by the
Literally
way.
can't touch anyone better.
doesn't matter.
Emotionally.
I still
He's
hate.
emotional
I
whore.
hate Rogue. I literally hate Rogue so much, and I hate her even more in the actual movies.
Yeah, live action, she's even worse.
She's somehow worse.
Because she doesn't even have
hold
personality.
on. We've been going for so long, so I just back on track of the question. X-Men 97. What else?
X-Men 97
In order.
That's number 1. What else have I watched? I've watched I'm trying to think of movies that I've maybe watched for the first time or shows. This is really bad. I'm sorry.
Or like rewatched for the first time in a while.
Oh, this isn't in the top 3, but I did rewatch Fallen Kingdom. Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom might be one of the worst movies of all time, bro. It's horrible.
Is that the second Chris Pratt movie?
Yeah.
Yes. And dude,
Yeah, that was the last one I watched.
The Indoraptor. Point this
well-
laser at him so this dinosaur will kill them instead of shooting them with a gun with a laser on it.
It could be worse.
well,
It could have been the Down syndrome
I didn't-
T-Rex.
Let's see. What's another movie I rewatched?
Oh,
I rewatched I'll put Rush on there. Because I rewatched Rush and I hadn't watched it in probably like a year or so. I'm gonna put that on there just because it's such a banger movie.
All right, that's a little too recent. If you can
Yeah,
think
that's
about
not
this.
a long time. It's like, oh man, I love Rush. I watched it a week ago.
He said a
but-
year ago, but
Why not? I watched it 5 months ago.
I'm more asking this of like you either experienced for the first time or it's been so long that it almost like now that you're older, it's actually like you're experiencing it for the first time with the show or movie. But
Dude,
if you can't,
dude, this is like I'm like, dude, I'm folding. The lights are too bright. I'm like trying to rack my brain on like what shows I've rewatched.
it's all good, bro. This is just trying to get myself gassed for telling you to watch The Gentleman, but then you just forgot it existed. So I guess just
The Gentleman!
No, I
Dude,
guess
the
it's just a terrible
Gentleman,
show.
bro!
No, I guess
No,
it's
the
terrible.
Gentleman, dude!
I was just trying to give myself gas.
That's the one I was trying to
think
think
of.
of.
Mention it, so I was just like sitting here like mission failed. The
that
port,
was
do not
shit-
pass
no,
go,
dude,
do not
dude,
collect $200.
Dude,
so.
that show was a banger. That's the
You
one I was
agree,
trying
right,
to think
Jake?
of. I was like,
What?
You have actually seen that one. Yeah, bro. Imagine if that creator made another show that was like even better for Jake, not for you, for Jake, and like he should watch it.
And it has
oh
Tom
my
Hardy in it,
gosh. Dude,
Yeah,
who I
dude,
like.
it
And
was
Pierce
genuinely
Brosnan.
driving me crazy because I was like,
and
I was
Patty
like, bro,
Constantine.
I was like, bro, I just watched a banger show, but I literally,
Yeah.
like,
Dude,
I
I'm sitting
literally was
here
like, I
like-
just can't think of what it, like, I couldn't like think,
I'm
like,
fishing.
even,
I
like,
was
think.
fishing for some gas right there. Some like, dude, that was a fire recommendation, and he just forgot it existed. I was just like,
Yes.
all right, bro, that's all good. I'll just go
No, The Gentleman is a fire show. Would recommend to anybody.
Dude, when I watched it, I knew it was the perfect show for you to watch.
it was a
It is
mega banger.
literally like if the Netflix, or no, I guess it was Guy Ritchie. If Guy Ritchie sat down and was like, I'm gonna write a really good story and make it perfect for Corbin. And then that's what he created. Dude, I'd kind of forgotten about the freaking Hitler's testicle until
Dude,
you
no.
texted it, and then I went through a split second of going, "What?"
I was like,
and then
what
I
is he
just
talking about?
and then I was like, "Oh, he's watching The Gentleman." I forgot that happened. But yeah,
Bro,
it had been a while
genuinely-
since I saw it too, so I was like,
Genuinely the
what's
most
he
insane
referencing?
thing I've ever seen.
okay, so
And then yeah.
so 97 X-Men 97, and then Gentleman, and then third. You don't know. This might not actually be the third best thing you watch, but I'll just ask because I know you watched all of them. What's your favorite X-Men movie? The ones you watch.
Last Stand or whatever it's called, which not that one.
Apocalypse.
Abysmal dog crap.
Dark
Apocalypse-
Phoenix.
X-Men Origins Wolverine.
Bro, that movie. Okay, bro. Okay, real quick. Wait, which one is it? What What Wolverine movie does he go to Japan?
That's the Wolverine.
That's the Wolverine.
Bro, such a boring movie.
Yeah,
So
it sucks.
boring.
It sucks.
It sucked. My favorite X-Men movie.
Yeah.
I mean, he gets
Could be worse.
whooped by Fingernail Girl.
Could be worse.
Yeah.
Could be X-Men Origins Wolverine.
I'm trying to remember the first.
Deadpool, but not really.
Is it? Yeah. That.
Sword Arms.
Would it be Deadpool or would it be something else?
No, I'll go with like strictly off X-Men. I think I consider Deadpool different. I know it's not, but like Deadpool
No, it
is
is.
just.
That was
It's-
no.
well,
It
it
isn't
sorta is.
different. It's in the same universe though. That's
It's
weird.
in the same universe, but I consider.
But it was kind of
Deadpool
after
1,
they
2,
stopped
and-
trying. They stopped trying, and he was making fun of the fact they stopped trying. So.
I'd go with the second one. Wait, what's the
X2?
second X2?
Yeah, X2.
What happens
It's
in
called
that one?
X2. I don't know. I either haven't seen it or it's been so long since I've seen
I
it.
think
that
it's literally just the first movie again. From what I remember, it's just like the first movie again.
I think it was.
I
Either
think you're the
X1
one
or
who's seen it
X2.
more recently. So.
It was-
You've probably
X-
seen it the most recently out of all of us.
X1 or
You-
X2 was the best.
I'm
one.
not
I
even-
don't remember.
I'm
I
not
don't
even
remember
sure.
which one.
You might realistically have the best current working knowledge of the X-Men out of the three of us right now.
Awesome.
Maybe
sauce.
not of the X-Men, but of the X-Men Fox universe.
Of the X-Men
yes.
movies.
Of the Fox
Yeah.
universe of movies, you definitely do more than me. I haven't seen all of them.
I have, it's just
Yeah.
been a while.
Mine still might be First Class.
I had a full
I
rewatch
really
like a
like-
year or
I
two ago.
really like First Class.
First Class, I like First Class a lot.
I really like First Class.
Oh wait, First Class.
Oh,
is
my
the,
legs!
Is the
I can't
reboot,
feel my
right?
legs. Like the
that was like the
First
soft
Class.
reboot, but like it was still in continuity with the first ones. The
Mhm.
reboot wasn't until Days
Yes.
of Future Past.
I can't
But
feel
First
my
Class
legs
was like the
just
soft
in Days of
reboot.
Future Past.
I can't feel my legs just like that
Just like-
scene in
just like-
Days of
just like in Days of
like
Future
that
Past.
scene in
Such a-
X-Men.
Such a good
You
scene.
should watch it.
You should
All right.
Yeah, no, yes. First Class is the one I was talking about because this is the one with that one homeboy being Magneto.
Holy crap! You saying that one homeboy just wiped his name from my mind.
Not McAvoy, because
Hold on.
McAvoy is
Is it Lawrence?
Charles.
Thinking?
Oh,
Bro, I'm so mad. I literally could easily tell you his name, but you saying that one homeboy
Oh.
wiped it from
Yeah,
my
you showing
from
his
my
picture
mind.
doesn't help. I know who he is. I like the
Him,
actor. I just
him
can't.
str-
Michael Fassbender. Holy
Yes,
crap.
thank you.
yes.
Corbin
Also
literally
in-
just hit like a Men in
Also,
Black memory
Kevin
wipe on
Bacon-
his name by calling
Kevin
him Val.
Bacon. Kevin Bacon's amazing.
Goes up.
Nicholas Holt was good.
Terrorism.
James McAvoy obviously was good. Jennifer Lawrence.
Is that
was
the one
okay.
with Darwin?
Who's Darwin?
Darwin's the dude
That is
who,
the one
like,
with Darwin.
adapts to
He can
nature
adapt to
and it-
anything, and then he gets killed by a
gets
laser.
Slimed.
I don't remember that.
They literally were like, "Yo, this character can literally survive anything. He's literally unkillable," and then they kill him.
All right.
Yeah, he,
Alright,
he
well-
adapts instantly and then just gets slimed.
It's like maybe just don't write him into the show.
Yeah.
Because people were
literally
like,
just shouldn't have-
well, people were like, well, they had to have Darwin in the movie, so they had to kill him somehow, or he would have been overpowered and stopped everything. Don't write him into the movie.
Bro, he literally sticks his head into a fishbowl. That's literally his entire cameo. My
Yeah.
name's Darwin, and look at me stick my head in the
Nope.
fishbowl.
All right.
Oh, look, dude, I didn't drown. That's the movie.
Oh,
We
but
have
this
been
this
going-
laser, I'm gonna adapt. I'm dead.
Dude,
We
I'm
have
gonna
been
shame.
going strong for almost 3 hours. And that is our.
It's like one of our
Review.
longest streams, and it was FNAF.
It's close. The Ironheart one is.
The
also
Ironheart
very
one is
long.
like 3.5 hours.
The Ironheart one is very long. We did a similar thing where we actually went through
The whole plot.
all
yeah.
the whole episode. So we have been. Where I was actually about to check the Ironheart one for just out of some curiosity here.
We're at 308 right now.
Yeah, but a lot of that was the starting soon, which I don't.
We're probably at about
don't
3. We're about 3.
Next week, we will either. Me and Jake will have to discuss. This is our longest, by the way. Next week. Oh, actually, Peacemaker, Terminalist, and everything in between was 256. So that one's the next
Pretty close.
closest. So it's not even Ironheart. Anyway, me and Jake will discuss what we're going to talk about over the next week. My guess is we'll either go through comments on my last video because I've been wanting to do that since the video came out, but Jake has been gone for 2 weeks, and then we had this to do. Or we might do the family plan too. Because that could be just really
horrible. Just utterly miserable, but it would be fun.
Yeah. So thank you all for watching. If you want to check out Corbin's Links, he has an autism channel down below. It's about WWE. And then we also have, me and Corbin actually have a Formula 1 podcast. It's also linked down below, obviously, or it's a racing podcast. We mainly talked about Formula 1 because that was what's going on. So if you're interested in any of that, you can check that out as well. He's got about 12 other links. Jake has a channel. No point in subscribing to it yet. Eventually, he'll make a video.
Go peep my first Ironheart video. It's the best video I have, and it's made.
I have a video out. If you haven't seen it, it's about the state of the box office and how it has nothing to do with superhero fatigue. And I have at least one more video I'm planning this year. So subscribe if you feel so inclined. Drop a like. Maybe do go check those guys out. And yeah. So thank you all for watching, and we'll see you next week. Still here, and check us out on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Bye.
Bye, everybody.